Running.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian. Guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket.
Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. We are in the Super 8 stage of this World T20 and in St Lucia, where West Indies play England. Well, England made hard work of qualifying from Group B, and they had to rely not just on powering past Oman and Namibia, but also the weather gods and their old enemies Australia, mustering just enough resolve to beat a feisty Scotland. The West Indies, on the other hand, are on an 8-match winning streak and have won all 4 of their Group C games. They will happily remember that beating England 3-2 in the T20 series at the end of last year too. St Lucia's been full of runs, unlike some grounds, and that plays to the strengths of both teams. I'm Tony Bishop, and with me are the fresh prince of jingling. It's Mog. Hello, Mog.
Word 'em up, yo.
Yeah, dude.
And probably a very grumpy bear who has done a Bishop and Bear podcast, the South Africa-USA game, and now this one in rapid order. And he's got another one to do tomorrow afternoon.
No, we don't even know what game it is because we can't remember. It's all coming quick and fast. We had a couple of days off, though. I'm feeling a little bit recharged. And I'm looking forward to these Super 8s.
Oh, I think so. Right, well, let me give you the team and toss news, which is that the toss has been won by England. Joss Buttler, surprise, surprise, has chosen to field. There are some team changes for both sides, actually. Liam Livingstone is in. He's in for Will Jacks, and Mark Wood, now there's an interesting one which we can talk about, is in for Chris Jordan. So it's Salt, Butler, Bairstow, Brooke, Moen Ali, Sam Curran, Jofra Archer, Livingstone, Mark Wood, Adil Rashid, Reece Topley. The West Indies, they have bought back Roston Chase for Shy Hope. They have bought in Romario Shepherd for Obed McCoy, lesser known brother of Sylvester. So they're Brandon King, Johnson Charles, Nicholas Puran, Roston Chase, Rodman Powell, the captain, Andre Russell, Shafane Rutherford, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Gudakesh Moti, and Romario Shepherd. Right, chaps, well, what can we start by talking about? Moggit's looked full of runs this ground. That should work for both sides, though, shouldn't it? Have got some real power hitters.
Based on the way it's been going, I think the West Indies are better suited.
Well, do you agree with that?
A bit shite.
Well, yeah, but don't forget, Mog, England have batted for what, a total of 13.2 overs or something in the whole fucking... Oh, no, 32 point. We batted all the 20 overs against Australia.
That worked out well.
Yeah. Oi, calm down.
Do you think they've got a bit of a psychological upper hand, the West Indies, given that 3-2 win?
Nah, it's a long time ago, and it was 3-2, and there were three really quite close. If I remember rightly, all the games were very close. Could have gone either way. So, didn't we go? We went 1-up.
I think we lost a couple heavily. Sam Curran went for 12 and over in that series.
Yeah, that was kind
and
of.
He's playing tonight.
It was straight after the World Cup. We just won as well, wasn't it, or something?
No, it was straight after the World Cup. We got absolutely pummeled in, and we're terrible.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
That was the end of
the series I refused to do after the World Cup, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's why you don't remember anything about it. I don't know. Russell, Rodman Powell, Nicholas Puran, and Shafane Rutherford, they all made runs at strike rates of over 160 in that series. So I think, Mog, you know your assessment that perhaps they, of all sides, they're the ones equipped to outpower England. You could be right. Bear a bit of sickness in the camp. Always a worry when you're on the kind of tour, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We just heard that in the run-up. They said they're all fine, but I'm sure it will affect some people more than others. I'm sure they give them loads of fucking diarylites if it's the squits, and loads of vitamins and all that shit and painkillers. They'll probably feel all right as long as they're not going to shit themselves.
Is that what they gave you in the IPL? In your training camp?
Absolutely.
What?
I mean, the one thing you're worried about if you've got the trots is that something squeezes out whilst you're running around the outfield, I suppose. So
a bit of a Gary Lineker.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want a Lineker. Nobody wants a Lineker moment.
The benefit of coloured pants.
Well, this has taken an unexpected turn, and maybe I need to check. I possibly need to move this conversation on to something a tad more savoury. England, Mog, played 3-1-3 here. West Indies won 6 from the last 10. But if you look at current form overall, 8 wins on the trot for the Windies, going to make them a tough proposition, isn't it?
I always think the more wins you get in a row, the more likely you are to lose the next one. So,
well, that's
for a loss. Maybe that's England's only hope.
Yeah, and you never want to go to a tournament unbeaten. Well, look what happened. I mean, very rare does it happen. Australia done it twice in the World Cup, but I don't think anyone's done it in the T20 World Cup. You've got to lose at some point, and you're better off losing somewhere before the final, obviously.
When it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. It does matter, but it matters less. You've got a chance to recover, at least in the Super 8. If you win 2, you should. If you win 2, it's going to come down to the worst is net run rate.
Well, we're on pitch 2, I can tell you that. The West Indies openers are out there. It's Brandon King and Johnson Charles. There's one very big boundary, which I think is to the leg side of the right-hander from the end that England are about to bowl from. That's about 72 metres, 63 on the other side here in the Darren Sammy Stadium, what used to be called Beausejour, or in Grosillet.
Have we had David Brooke on any of these games, by the way, yeah?
No, he's a hard man to track down these days.
Oh, I just saw him posting Dave if you're out there.
Anyway, let's jingle up the batsman. Should we do Brandon King? I think we probably should. Here he is. Oh, it's Johnson.
Brandon King, never been king before. He scores runs just for fun in the Caribbean, somewhere nobody else has scored more.
Opening the bowling for England is this chap.
KB once tried to kill him, and AB smashed him off the
Well, he is indeed. He had a cracking. I don't think he took a wicket against Namibia, did he? But he kept the run rate down.
Yeah.
He's going to be bowling from the pavilion end. And he's been interested this week. He's been talking about Test prospects as Reece Topley. He thinks he could certainly do something in the Ashes,
Really?
which is encouraging. Well, I don't know.
Well,
he could do worse at the moment, I think.
I don't know. He's a good bowler. I like him, but the question is, will he hold together?
Most of the England players are sporting their caps because is it an evening game here?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. That's why it's 1:30
That's
in the
why it's
morning.
1:30 in the morning.
That's why
here,
that's 1:30. I knew there was a reason I went to bed at about 8 o'clock. Mind you, still managed to watch Scotland. Get an honourable.
That's quite a good game.
Get an honourable draw. Georgia the other night. That was a great game. But let's focus on the cricket here. We're waiting for Topley. His shirt is being ruffled by the gentle breeze, which we think is blowing from the sort of the short side across to the long side.
Well, yeah, that's from one end, obviously.
And he's left arm over and he's driven immediately down the ground straight to mid-off, where it is fielded by Jofra Archer.
Good bit of swing
And
there, though.
The way it did go a little bit, not a huge amount, but a bit. And
Enough.
the West Indies are off and running with a single. One without loss. We've already had one game today, of course. Well, the Bear will know that very well because he was covering it. The South Africa over in Antigua squeezed home.
Well,
Squeezed
quite
home.
comfortably. In
Comfortably,
the end.
but
There was a
defeat
little, there was a little scare towards the end.
defeat with honour for the USA. In comes Topley. That swings down leg. So it swung too far. Having said he didn't swing much the first time, and it'll be the first wide. So we've had 2 off 2, and it's one of these.
Wide.
That doesn't sound like one of yours, Mog. Yours
No,
are nearly
that's not.
always original. You're not normally a sampler, repurposer in that way. That swing.
Oh, that's out.
got to be.
We didn't hit
Topley's
that.
convinced. Nitin Menon is having a look. Josh Butler is double teapotting and thinking.
No, that's
nah.
out, man. What?
Well, either it's an inside edge or
It
it
didn't-
certainly wasn't height because it was very full. It swung. I thought that looked plumb to me. Mog, what have got any thoughts there?
Sorry, I was picking up a cat while that was happening. So
All right.
Maybe not.
Possibly swung too far. Yeah, okay. Topley liked it. His tattooed arms. He's got a fair number of tattoos there, isn't he? He's one of them
you
of
can't
his
trust a bowler.
ex-tennis player girlfriend, isn't it? Slivit. I can't remember her name. That swings down leg. Butler dives
Oh,
away.
that came off the pad,
No
didn't it?
bat. I thought that came off something. Nitin Menon didn't. And the problem in a way here for Topley is he's getting too much swing. That's because that's happened twice.
Yeah, guess it right there. It's going to be trouble.
It's another one. Let's play a different wide jingle.
These are Sherwood.
So 4 balls, 1 off the bat, 2 wides and a dot ball so far. There are 2 fielders deep on the leg at backward square and mid wicket. Neither will be called into action. That goes to short square. Adil Rashid fields, and it's a dot ball. So providing Topley can just control that, he's looking a fearsome prospect, but can't swing it too far, can he?
Yeah, who's going to open it at the other end, do you think? They're going to try and over a spin. Moeen's had a
I-
go. I wouldn't do with 2 right-handers, to be honest.
Well, we'll see. I think it'll be Jofra. That might be a wide, although
No.
I think he'd step back too much.
It went
hadn't he?
between his legs.
Yeah, went between his legs, and it can't be. He'd certainly step right back had Johnson Charles, who, by the way, I think we are yet to jingle. So
There you go. The wind's going right across, and that's going to help his in-swing.
yes,
That's from the left of your radio dial to the right.
that's what I said.
Well, no, because at the beginning of the programme, they were showing it coming from sort of mid-off.
Yeah. Well, no, it's now a breeze, a gentle sea breeze.
18 kilometres an hour, they said.
We're near
not
Rodney
that
Bay.
gentle.
In comes Topley. An attempted work to leg by Johnson Charles. He's yet to get off the mark. Just the one
I stayed in Rodney
for
Bay.
King. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Not.
And the
Here's Johnson Charles. Let's just quickly jingle him. Is it as beautiful as people say?
It's beautiful. We got. God, this is how long ago it was.
Backwards
Do you
name
remember
alert.
Lute?
Johnson Charles.
Yes.
We got our place in there and loot. And when we,
Oh, the magazine loot.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then-
crikey.
exactly.
There's a leg slip now, but that's driven away. It's driven away between point and cover. Two men go sprinting after it. Who's going to win? It looks like Liam Livingston won that chase. It'll be 2 off the bat. It'll be the end of the first over, which has gone for 5. Only 3 of which were off the bat. I think it's 2 for Johnson Charles, 1 for Brandon King. And we can catch up with our first messages, Mog.
Muttley says, Wolf, morning Froy mates and evening kittens. He's here but he's baking. Love and sausages. Pirate Badshot says hello. Gorilla Cricket says super chatters. Do it.
Do.
Messi
Help
says
us out.
hello. He says, interesting to note that while the West Indies are opening with King Charles, England really give us the butler with some salt.
Oh.
Some cunning wordplay.
Good.
And,
We like that.
Farong says, good morning, hope everything's well. He's off to work, he's hoping for a bear blowout.
Well, only if it works in England's favour, then
Absolutely.
I'd probably go along with him. But we shall
Doesn't
see.
specify.
Where's Mark Wood? Here he is, and it is going to be him now. I think this could be an interesting over. That's beaten. Well, there's a big shout. Ashan Raza shakes his chubby chops and says, I don't think so. Did they think they got an edge, or did they think they
Well, it
just
doesn't really- if they
took
thought it
him
was
in
an-
front?
If they thought it was an edge, then he caught it. If they thought it hit the pads, then it looked pretty close. But they've decided not to review again. They didn't review in the last game. They'd have had someone out. You've only
Well-
got 2 reviews, and there's only 20 overs.
Kieran Pollard and Chris Jordan are sat next to one another, and they're looking at thinking, hello. Bit of movement.
Oh,
that's
that's
plumb in
quite-
front, surely.
It might be
It's
height.
too high.
Possibly high. I think I'd have had a look just to see if it was clipping the top of that off bail.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, if you've only got 2 reviews and you've got 20 overs, if you think something's out, you might as well fucking
it's a
review it.
Promising start from Mark Wood. That's not a promising start. It's a horrible ball, speared away down leg, bounced a bit as an attempted swing by King Charles, or Charles King. Either way, it's 1 more to the score, and by way of a wide.
It missed the bat. It
Yeah.
did hit the back, top of the back pad. Probably going over.
Butler certainly was keen. Let's have a look. Impact in line.
Umpire's
It
call.
would have been umpire's call.
So
and
we'd have
umpire
kept
hadn't
the
given it.
review.
So we'd have kept the review. Mark Wood over the wicket, in, pushed to mid-on. They take a hasty
Ooh.
single. They're going to have to hurry. The ball hits. I think they're going to get overthrows. They are. The throw came in to the wicket-keeper's end. It hit the stumps. It went spearing off down towards Reece Topley, who is down there at where is he? Blah, 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 sort of third man.
It's good to see Harry Brook in the last game actually got time in the middle and looked good. I've forgotten when
Did they just? Yes, it is. Did they take that second run in the end, or did
Yes.
they go back? Well, I'm not sure they did, because
No, no.
I think he'd realised that Brandon King had just gone too far and couldn't turn round in time. He's like a tanker
Oh, no, got
turning,
one,
so they
yeah.
only took a single. It means Johnson Charles will be on strike there, 2 apiece. Extras, the top scorer so far with 5. And Mark Woods had a reasonable start. He's bowling 2. Johnson Charles, he has a slip. Charles steps back, swings away like a rusty gate and misses.
That was ugly.
It was ugly.
Did he miss that by as much as it seemed like he missed
No,
it?
I think he did. It was. It definitely swung away.
He missed it by quite a lot.
And the movement in the air here, I think,
Well,
is
I think-
interesting.
Well, with an 18-mile-an-hour wind, with a ball that's new, I'd expect it to go in the air.
Well, England will be probably hoping that that may die down a bit as the evening wears on, as they've chosen to bowl first.
I don't think
What
it
is
will.
this? Skill
No
stat
boundaries off the
graphic.
bat yet. In comes Mark Wood. That's gone up in the air. It's going to drop between mid-on and mid-off, both of whom converged. I don't think they were realistically in the game. I think it's Sam Curran and Jofra.
That's a breeze and a half. That's not. That's
It
a
is.
gentle breeze.
No, it is. It's whipping across the ground. It will certainly make that
Excellent
long boundary
placement.
seem a little less long from one end. So the West Indies move on to 9. We've got 2 balls left of this Mark Wood over, providing we don't see more extras. That's going to be the first boundary, I think. It's just steered loftily, but
Aerially,
between.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit aerial, but it was backward a point and away for the first one of these.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
And Bear, first one he's really dropped that little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And really, it looks to me like bowling short is not going to be the answer. Having got so much, seen what Topley did with so much swing, and even Mark Wood swung a couple when he's pitched it up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, in he comes. Has he learned? Yes, he has. He's bowled that fuller. Net result, dot ball.
Not a bad over.
Listen to the Bear and Tony. Mark Wood. Not a bad over at all, and we can go back to Mog.
Over on the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
Dara Azizi says, hi all.
Hello, Dara.
Mike
Dara.
says hello over on YouTube as well.
Hello, Mike.
Messi says, England are playing when the Bishop and the Bear actually agree on overturning the umpire to dismiss 2 batters in 2 overs.
We do agree more than this is a myth that we disagree on everything.
Last time I can remember the agreement was 2017. So yeah, it's very common.
13 without loss, 2 overs complete. So what's that? 7.5? No, yes, 7.5. 6.5. Down leg by Topley. Once again, he's cross with himself. Nitin Menon spreads his arms. He's just getting that bit too much movement. He's getting that breeze that's helping it, and he's not quite able to control it. And it's yet another one of these.
Well, I don't mind as long as he only goes for about 3 off the rest of the balls, which he had did in the first over. So just don't bowl a bad ball.
Wide.
What's he got? His left arm down. That's probably on about 4th stump line. It's crunched by Charles straight to mid-off though.
No timing.
And it's a dot ball. You're right, Bear. See, we agreed again. He didn't time it. He's put a lot of effort for not a lot of reward. Bit like cricket, really. But
it seems to me don't offer any width on this track because it is pretty true.
Or short. Or don't bowl short and don't bowl wide.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is,
Yeah.
good advice. Easy to sit here and give, not necessarily easy to execute, particularly when you're in
Got
a
to try and bowl wicket to
Super 8
wicket.
game. In comes Topley to Brandon King, who is attempting to haul him to leg and bottom edges it straight down into the ground. Topley fields off his own bowling. It's another dot ball. We've had 2 dot balls and a wide this over. And this really is a bit like his bowling against Namibia, where he bowled very full, very accurate, and was very, very difficult for the Namibians to get away, wasn't he? Was Topley.
What is this bollocks skill scale thing at the bottom?
Against left-hand bat, he's 88%.
Maybe 88% of something? 88% dot. Can't be dot balls, can it?
10/5 of sweet fuck all, apparently.
Well, there you go. Let's have a
It's
look.
like a video game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some sort of fucking top trumps card.
9 for 6 off his 2 overs against Namibia, which is against any side in the world's top order is not bad going, is it? When you've only got 11 overs to bat and they're going to be swinging like crazy. To go for just 6 is a pretty impressive effort, even if you don't take a wicket. Yes, Brandon King's having a bit of bat trouble. Was that Shimron Hetmeyer?
It was.
I thought it was unmistakably. Well, it's coloured hair. I don't know what colour he's made it today.
I think it's blue.
Sort of bluish colour. There's not quite sure why he's having a problem with his bat.
Yes, it's the bat that's the problem, not him swinging at things and not hitting it.
Well, Topley is getting a bit of movement. What's he going to have this time? Swings in that. Well, that's the new bat. God, can I have one of those?
That's out of the ground.
That, I think, is most of its way towards the pitons. That's an enormous hit by Brandon King. I think he's got it over the roof. And it's the first one of these, and I think we should play one of Mog's, except that's 4s, so I can't. Here we go. 6, here's a Mog jingle. There we go with this one.
Yeah, hit the top of the roof and bounce out the stadium.
2, 4, 6.
Too full, that one. Right in the
101
arc.
metres.
101 metres was it?
Well, that's with the wind, isn't
Well, that
it?
is wind assisted and new bat assisted for
What's that, new batteries in the
Brandon
bat?
King. Actually, I think Brandon King's not necessarily the fastest scorer. Well, we'll have a quick look at where he's been for the rest of the series. Hold on 1 second. Brandon King, what's he done in this series? Got 34 off 29 against Papua New Guinea, 13 off 8. Uganda, 9 off 12 against New Zealand, 7 off 6 against Afghanistan. That's not electrifying pace, Bear.
No.
Strike rate wise, 20 is on the board off 2.5 overs. So those extras have actually meant West Indies have been able to motor along. That one swings in, the bat is dropped on it, and it just eased to Jofra Archer at a shortest mid off, but it can't stop them getting a single, and the score moves on to 21. I mean, that swung into his toes, and he just picked it up and launched it onto that sort of cantilever-y looking roof. 9 for Brandon King, 8 for Johnson Charles. 8 off this over from Topley, who is left arm over in, swings to legs, full straight, 2-3 bounces.
No, it was one bounce.
Mid on, one bounce was it? It's
Didn't
Harry Brook who's at
bounce
mid
far in
on.
front of him, actually. Mid on.
Well, a dot ball. What was it? The 100. They said every ball counts.
Yeah. Of course, it
Good
does
thing
in a
that in
T20.
T20
Wasn't
only about 7 of them do.
Yeah, can you let someone else in? James?
Wasn't it when we were covering that? Oh, we'll wait for Topley,
Well,
who swings it down leg, but Johnson Charles has somehow managed to just engineer this
Vatican slice.
down to fine leg, and I think it was a Vatican slice, but he's got himself 4 runs for it. It's the house on the hill when I can let him in. Oh, for Christ's sake, where the fuck is it? Oh, there it is. There we go. Got him. Wasn't it when we covered the very first 100 game? And we said every ball counts, and the first ball in the ever was a dot ball. We went, oh, well,
it counted.
except that one.
Did we cover
Still went to
100?
school.
Yeah, we covered the very first game out of curiosity. Mog, any quick messages for us? 25 for none.
Messi says, weather note, there's a strong possibility of some showers during England's innings.
God.
Dun, dun, dun. And Carl Herbert says that would be the fastest trip from Gros Islet to the Piton.
Gros Islet. However you say it. Well,
pronounced
we
it
are
very
going to
bad,
see.
Don't worry about me.
This will be interesting. Jofra Archer into the attack. Here he is.
He will break your helmet.
And he's into Brandon King, who waits, dabs the bat, guides it down to deep backward point. Bit of a misfield by the Salty Sea Dog, but it still should just be a single. It is. West Indies move to 26.
Yeah, they're not going along at a great pace, are they? 8 and over.
No, we're in the power play. Those wides have been a frustration for England. In comes Archer. That's a bit bottom edged pulled. It's going to be fielded at deep mid wicket. Livingstone is the man, and again it will just be a single. So 2 singles, I guess, in the power play. Jofra Archer will take that.
He's certainly shaping up to give it some Humpty, but he just keeps mistiming it,
Looking
doesn't he?
to. They are looking to. On the leg side, there is a deep backward square. That moves away, and it's lofted up and over cover point. But, it's going to be misfielded. It has been misfielded. It's Phil Salt, and that really should have been 2. It's doubled up to 4. Salt throws the ball away in disgust at himself. You wouldn't call it sloppy. It was a genuine mistake, but it's one of these.
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4's are for.
Why are they checking
To
that?
get
Clearly hit the
funky on
fucking
dance
boundary
floor.
there.
Yeah, you do wonder if that's not a bit of a waste of time, really.
He knew it.
He
The way
knew
threw
it.
Everyone knew it.
It's not even like there's commercial brake value. It's not like we're having a Seat tyres boundary check.
But wouldn't you all be whining like stuck pigs if it turned out
Well,
it wasn't actually a 4?
Well, it was a 4, 6 off the over.
Clearly a fucking 4.
And Jofra Archer.
He's gone straight through the boundary sponge.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you'd have thought.
Well, you saw the actual boundary sponge.
He saw the ball hit
Ripple.
the sponge. Yeah, thank
He's
you.
kneeling on it even as he picks it up and throws it back. Christ's sake.
Well, there you go. 31 without loss. 3.3 overs. Jofra Archer in.
Ooh,
Thumped up over one bounce over long on. And this has been a bit of an expensive start for Jofra. One of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Finding a bit of rhythm, the batters. Not so much the introduction of Jofra Archer, although he will have a long, hard, old-fashioned look at Phil Salt, because he'll probably feel that two of those runs off this over are a bit unjust. So what was a steady, slow start for the West Indies is gathering pace, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
2 consecutive 4s. That one is fuller, slightly slower.
Much slower.
And it was much slower, and it proved to be far more effective. It was just a single push to mid-on, and they move on to 36 123 kilometres an hour. Well, that in Jofra land is pretty sedate, isn't it,
Yeah, very much so.
based upon what he is capable of. Nasser Hussain starting to look like an old geography teacher or an old science professor, isn't he?
Like a cross between Mr. Burns and Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu, I see that. That one is a bit of bounce outside of off stump. King can't lay a bat on it. And that over's gone for 11 after 4. The West Indies are 36 without loss, Mog.
Clueless middle-aged man says, "Good morning from Western Sydney. Are we in for a... we're in for a top of 18 degrees in Sydney today, but it should be a good game." And also just wants to remind Topley that the batter is right-handed.
Well, Johnson Charles has now changed his bat. So he saw, I think, was it Brandon King, or is that the second bat for Charles?
No, the other one's a ton, so it's definitely the other dude.
The other dude, the King Charles. It does. King Charles is what we
King
see on our
Charles.
screen, of course.
1913, it's like his year of birth as well.
Wow, fantastic. 36 without loss. Sam Curran is going to be bowling from the media centre end. His last T20 in the West Indies, I don't think went particularly well. As we were saying earlier, averaged, got banged for about an average of 12 and over. Let's see how he goes here. I'll jingle him off after this first delivery. Left arm over he comes. That's down the track comes King. He was swinging away to cover. He edged and it was up over slip. No third man. And not a great start for Sammy C.
Yeah, full shot though.
2 + 2 is our number. 2 + 2 is our number.
And this, well, that's the old if you're gonna
Swing
hard. And it's not a great start for England now.
Well,
It is a good start for the West Indies.
They got off. They finally got away.
Curran, again, good footwork by King, but this time straight
Has he
to
injured
wide
himself?
mid off, and he's fallen over, and he does seem to be in some discomfort here. I was just complimenting his good footwork, feet to the pitch, nice looking drive,
What's he done?
but he's crumpled over in a heap. We'll have to see what happened, because I was looking at the shot rather than what he was doing.
He had presence of mind to get his bat back behind the crease, though. So
Well, here we go. We
that's
can
good.
tell you now. It does swing in. Down the track he comes. And I think
He's pulled something.
he's
clearly.
pulled something there, because it's not the ball. He doesn't fall over, sort of trip over his own feet as he's playing the shot. I fear that might be a thigh muscle, just looking at the way he went down.
No, I think it's a side muscle. I think it's intercostal or something like that.
And I'm going to say in between, it's his hip.
You think it's his hip?
No, because he goes down and he kind of holds his arm goes into his stomach. Maybe it's an arm. Popped
Well, we've
him up.
covered most of his body now. We've had hip,
Right?
thigh.
Do we have anybody suggesting it's his scalp that's got a problem?
It's
anymore?
not.
No, I don't
it's
think
not
it's
his
his scalp,
legs.
no.
It's not his legs because he'd have put his hand to his legs.
no one crumples in a heap with a bad case of dandruff mod, by and
Oh,
large.
it's just you don't want to see that.
No, you don't. He's in a terrific amount of pain here. Is poor old Brandon King. And he's been going well, these two. Not that they aren't well blessed with ample power. Don't know what made me think of well blessed and ample when I when I said that. But there we go.
I do.
40 without loss. He seems to be, well, no, he's still got no bat in his hand. His gloves are off. I think he may be retiring hurt here.
Well, that's a blow for the West
At least
Indies.
he's able to stand up by himself.
Well, he is, yeah, and he's able to walk, but there's clearly a problem. That was your Vatican slice that we're seeing the replay of.
Thought of a jingle for a Vatican slice when you did that, or when you said that before too.
Did you have you got? You have done one, or are you cooking one in the creative Mog brain?
No, something just popped into my head when Bear said it earlier.
I'm not going to ask you what it is because that'll spoil the surprise when it arrives in my inbox
Oh yeah.
early in the UK morning, and I get a Mog musical mail. Right, well, Brandon King has retired hurt. Any number of possible reasons for it, ranging from an ingrowing toenail to dandruff and all points in between. We're not quite sure what it was. But it means into the crease will come Nicholas Pooran, who is going to be somewhere. Here he is.
If we could keep a batsman or your kind of thing, let me introduce Nicholas Pooran. Nick Pooran often plays as a batsman. Nick Pooran.
Curran in. Defended by Nicholas Pooran. That's a drop ball. And a much needed dot ball for England right now because they've been going along very
You
nicely.
need to let someone in, James.
Someone else in. Who have we got now? I've let him in once.
Yeah, he must have gone away.
How
and
many
come back.
times do you have to let somebody's like? We need the sort of Zoom equivalent of a cat flap, Bear, so we don't have to keep doing
Well,
it.
you can't do that, otherwise people.
Anyone to be in any time,
Exactly.
just any old riffraff, which basically describes our commentary team, as that is wide of off
Speak for
stump.
yourself.
That's wide of off
Exactly.
stump through to Joss Butler, and there is no runt. 3 consecutive dot balls for Sammy Curran. One that saw the back of Brandon King, but not through taking his wicket, through him retiring hurt. There's that skill
look at Nicholas
scale.
Pooran,
isn't
60% attack. Wow, there's a guy who never attacks the ball.
Is that 60% he attacks? That's quite a low level of attacking. Edged. There's a man at, well, would you call that fly slip? You call it short third?
man.
Yeah, I'd call it short third, but it means it's another dot ball. And Sam Curran, who went for 4 off his first ball, has come back with 4 dot balls, which is
King was
pretty good
charging.
effort.
King was charging him, wasn't he? And now he got a
He
new
was.
batsman at the crease. It's not what you really need.
Maybe the
As a
sight of
batting
somebody's
side.
pain has inspired him.
Yeah, possibly. We're going to change it in this over, aren't we?
we are. What did you do?
I'm
95, of course, in the last game, I think. As that one is launched, it is going to be a boundary to finish the over. Pooran just launched it up and over.
No,
Cover
just
point.
cut it square into the ground, actually.
Oh, did he? Well, either way, it's gone for 4. There we go.
There's not one boy for me, I must have
Yeah, he
2 or
got
3,
98
I
of
need
53 against
4.
Afghanistan, did Nicholas Pooran. And that was here, of course, wasn't it, in St Lucia? Right, we are due a change. I'd like to tell you. Mog, give us. Oh,
here, and I
messages.
think
Give
the
us the
ref's
messages.
available in Melbourne.
Yeah, not me. Bye.
Oh,
See you, Mark.
No.
Bloody riff-raff, Tony. Fuck off.
Well, I'd say clearly not current company. It's going to be fourthy.
It is, yes. West Indies, 44 without loss after the first 5 overs. Archer back into the attack. And that one's cut hard over the infield. That'll go all the way. One bounce, I think it was, for 4 runs.
4. F-O-R.
Don't think either side have really pulled ahead to a decisive advantage as yet. Maybe your money would be slightly on West Indies.
I would tend to say that.
But don't go away. Plenty to play for here. That's played down to mid-off by Charles. There's a slight sort of 19th century feel to things, King Charles. I feel that Nicholas Pooran sounds like the King's Apothecary from about 1854, I would say.
That's very precise there.
No, just the vibe. Just a vibe I'm getting. Anyway, Charles is back on strike. And that goes a full ball to cut, but he's successfully achieved that wide of the man at point and he's gone all the way for
Oh, it wasn't 6. What's it doing in the 4, Jingles? It's been misfiled. Never mind.
Well,
yeah, he played that really nicely. Just waited, steered it between backward point and third.
20 metres between
man.
backward point and short third, as we're discovering, and he managed to bisect in a mathematical style. Archer grimaces. Usually him who's got some sort of injury by this stage, but if it was the batsman who went off. It's Brandon King, he's already gone with an injury. That's a dot ball, very welcome. 4 dots so far this over.
I mean, the comforting thing you would say here for England is that this has been a very high scoring ground. Scotland got 180, Sri Lanka 201, West Indies 218, and then a 200. So the average first innings score is exactly 200 in this World Cup.
Yes, 200 is about par, so you're looking at 10 and over, and that's more or less where West Indies are at. And that's a swing and a miss, so that's a dot ball. 4 dot, and you know, if you think you go for 2 boundaries, that's not good. But if you were to finish off with a dot ball here, Archer, it would be a reasonably successful over, in fact, and it would conclude the power play.
It's been going pretty well, Nicholas Pooran. Made 75 in the warm-up against Australia, as well as 27 and 22 and 17, and then that 98.
All the West Indian batsmen are in fine fettle, with a possible exception of Rovnan Powell, and that's another dot ball. So that
would be a wide, I'm afraid.
It's a wide. Archer's not happy, Butler's not happy, and they're not happy with the umpire.
Still one of these.
I can see why they weren't particularly happy with that, because he out to thought the batsman. And with the spare ball, that has gone to deep square leg. Is that Moobs? Sorry, Johnny Bairstow down there doing the fielding. Or maybe it's Phil Salt. And that is the end of the 6th over. West Indies 54 without loss, but with Brandon King retired, hurt, Messi.
Matley says, "What the fuck was that jingle? It was amazing." That was the previous over. I can't remember it now. Brown Barry says, "We need a cat flap with a password to keep the riffraff out."
Meow.
And Brown says, 32nd, 34th. Ooh, God. Carl Herbert says, "If England don't get wickets, there will be trouble." I actually think England picked the wrong team. I think it's a mistake to go in with both Wood and Archer to a team that like the pace on.
Yeah.
But I also think they got a long tail.
Hopley and sprays it very, very wide of Charles, and that will be a wide. That's an absolutely legitimate wide, no complaints.
Wide.
So with a run rate of 9, you'd think West Indies are in the ascendancy, but as Tony's pointed out, that's actually substandard on this ground, so it probably is more or less in the balance. I don't think any side has really pulled ahead decisively. Oh, and that's one of those old style Courtney Walsh slow ball out the back of the hand at 90 miles an hour. But Charles read it well enough and managed to play it out for a single. He moves on to 23 off 20.
A fair bit of shit coming from Topley.
He started off very well and very frugally, and he bowled beautifully against Namibia. It didn't matter that he didn't take any wickets when he only had 11 overs, and I think he only went for about 7, didn't he? It was a pretty good effort from him.
Yeah, 4 wides in 2.1 overs is not impressive.
Yeah, it might be the breeze that's causing the problem.
It's a risk-reward thing. He's gone for 19 off 2.1 overs. And that's absolutely bang on the money line and length. Ball defended by Nicholas Puran, who's now 4 off 5. 4 of those were dot balls.
It was a power play 54, wasn't it?
Did a little bit of background research on St. Lucia because I'm nothing but not assiduous, and I discovered that it has the highest concentration of, I think it's Nobel Prize winners.
It does. Yeah. We must have found the same tourist website.
And that's played out to Phil Salt, and they've just come through for a single. So not a bad over so far. Wide 1.1. Depends what happens on the next 3 balls as to what history will decide the verdict on this over will be. The score's 57 with that loss.
Did your research also tell you that it's the first country to be named after a woman, Forthy? In which case we were definitely looking at the same source.
Yeah, picked up on that one as well. It's a bit odd that they can be sovereign countries but also part of the Commonwealth, which takes a bit of your head getting around. And that's, well, no, I suppose that's okay. No. And that's squirted wide through mid-wicket. No, I take that back. And that ticks the score along to 58 without loss.
I suspect most of the Commonwealth members are actually sovereign countries.
Yes. No, I did take it back, Messi. I did take it back.
Oh, sorry, you. Okay.
I retracted that comment. Let Hansard record. I retracted that comment.
Took it back.
Topley for his 5th ball of the over, and that's full powerfully. And that will be 4 runs. There's a bit of a
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4s are for, to get funky on the dance floor.
Puran's mostly dealing in 4s. He's 9 off 7, 2 of those 4s. That was a good, powerful hit. He got hold of that one all right. A real baseball smash.
But again, it was dropping it short. Topley's had his success when he's been pitching it up. As soon as he dropped short, Mark Wood, same thing. Jofra Archer, same thing.
Topley in again for the last ball of the over, and Fuller, but as if to prove Tony's point, that's cut off in the deep. Tony's sounding rather like a tired and impatient deputy headmaster there. Oh, come on, guys, come on.
Deputy headmaster? Why the fuck not the proper headmaster?
Oh, deputy. Headmaster, I think all magisterial. They sort of swan in and they make all doing very well. It's up to the deputy headmaster to play bad cop. At the end,
I think you're thinking of young Mr. Grace there.
Yes, right. Messi, over to you.
Yeah, Mark Zipp got a shot when he turned it on. Saw that West Indies were 40 for no wicket, and the batters were on 0 and 30. And he thought England had given a huge number of extras. Was relieved to find that someone had retired hurt. They have given quite a few, indeed. Mog says that the Puran jingle, that's the one that you like. That's a Dead Kennedy song. Mayank's currently stuck in Houston, and it's a tropical storm right now. Starving, but I'm not going outside in this weather to get dinner. Oh, life is so mean to you, Mayank. It really is. Mog says Topley reminds me of a mutated Rupert Everett. Oh, that's a lot of mutation there.
Good lord.
Mark Wood is in for his 2nd over. He went just for 8 off his 1st. There can only be 2 Dead Kennedy songs, effectively. There are
Holiday in Cambodia would be the first one that would come to my mind, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Do you know the other one?
No.
In comes Mark. And that's played.
Whoa!
Sieve hit. I think that might have gone onto the roof. Absolutely extraordinary. People are wincing at the size of that hit. So Nicholas Puran moves on to 16, the score on to 69.
I mean, he just absolutely launched that about 95 metres up into the St Lucian night sky. Everything was right about that. It was in the slot, swung away by the left-hander. Fabulous shot. And this is the risk when you bring on the pace.
In comes Mark Wood. He's the risk, and another heave, but he completely misses that one. The other song by the Dead Kennedys is California über alles, which is a fantastic song. Description of Jerry Brown when he was running for Governor of California. It's the Suede Denim Secret Police. We have come for your uncool niece. It's actually, I prefer it to Holiday in Cambodia. They do a good cover of Viva Las Vegas, which Tony might be more familiar with.
Yes. Bright Light City, going to set my soul on fire.
Yes. In comes Mark Wood over the wicket, and that is pushed a little wider, and Nicholas Puram reaches for it, doesn't make contact. So it's a good comeback from Mark Wood, ... after the original 6.
Yeah, well, as we've been saying, they're sort of on course for another 200 score. 200 on the nose is the average first inning score for this World Cup. Interestingly, more historically, it's only about 163, and in the CPL of late, it's been lower than that. So I don't know what they've done in this World Cup to accelerate things, but it seems to be working if it's runs are what you want.
Darren Sammy worked his magic out in the middle, and that's a massive heave. Doesn't get all of it, just goes down to deep square, where Sam Curran, I think, out there on the deep square boundary. They restrict it to 1. So again, good comeback from Mark Wood. This is intelligent bowling, as Tony suggests, full.
Yeah, it's just so easy to sit here and be wise, isn't it, when you're not having to do it. You'd go, well, why did he do that? Why did he bowl short? Why did he bowl wide? Just swing it in at the batsman's toes every time, like your Wasim Akram. You can't go wrong. How difficult can that be?
I mean, I listened to 50 years of Test Match Special. Well, not quite that many. England were just a touch short, I felt, in their bowling this morning. Just a yard short. Well, why don't they just bowl a yard full every time? For 50 years we heard England were a yard short this morning.
True.
Fifth ball of the over, and that will be a wide.
I think it will be. Yeah.
George McPherson says on that point, England's bowling continues to be shambolic. Time to get some wickets or else they won't be able to retain the trophy. He also sorry.
Carry on.
And he blames the 100, of course.
Of course. There's a lovely, those Molesworth books for Williams and Sell. I'll come back to that after the 5th book of the fifth ball of Mark Wood's over. And Charles backs away to such a degree, almost shakes hand with the square leg umpire, and clips it to the net result is he's played it out to deep square where Harry Brook does the fielding. There's a lovely bit in one of those Molesworth books where the Molesworth senior, his father, is saying, MCC bunch of rabbits. I think you have to say that people have been seeing England absolutely shambolic since the dawn of time.
Yeah, there was a real cause and effect there. It was the backing away of Johnson Charles, and it was followed by Mark Wood. The one thing that amazes me about the modern bowler is the ability to change direction in midstream on the basis of how far a batsman moves.
Last ball of the over, Mark Wood in again, his right arm fast, very express, and he's pitched that a little shorter, but possibly rolled his fingers along the sides. Might have been a little slower, I think, that one, so he outthought the batsman. End of the over to Messi.
Sorry, Mike says it's not all bad here. I have the game streaming on the TV in my Airbnb while listening to you all on my phone. Also makes comments in relation to some of the camera shots. Excuse me. Some compliments to Mr. Sherwood's original jingles from our jingle extraordinaire Mog. George says, shouldn't there be one down? No, for those who aren't aware, when a batter retires hurt, he's able to return at a fall of a subsequent wicket if he's able, so it's not a wicket as such. Steve Hanford says, day off, bloody cold here in Perth, listening with the tea. Indeed it is, although it's soared to 5 degrees now.
Whoa, blimey, that is chilly for
in Australia right now. I think Rashid is into the attack, which is not particularly good news for West Indies. He's hard to get away. Very experienced bowler, as we all know. He's twirling his magic, and Charles is not to be too rash first ball. Just plays it back down to Rashid. Dot ball.
Just trying to find him. Where? Oh, here he is. I bet he's on the 45.
Rashid on the 45.
Carry on.
Corner shot there. Corner shot inspired jingle. And that's played down to long off. So this is nice to big start. Just what England are looking for. .1.
Which corner shot track do you have in mind?
Brimful of Asher.
Oh, Brimful of Asher, of course. Yeah.
Which I think Fatboy Slim did a sort of juzzed up and made a big hit out of. Adil Rashid, and that's his wrong un, I guess.
That's the googly. Yeah.
The googly is read by Puran, but he just plays it down at his feet. Adil Rashid does his own fielding dot ball.
England needed to establish some control. They need to put some doubts into the mind of these West Indies batsmen, because they've been motoring along a tad too comfortably.
Put some doubts into Nicholas Puran, the apothecary's mind, about the efficacy of alchemy, maybe. And that's played down by Puran, not thinking of alchemy now, down to long on for a single. He moves on to 18, score to 74.
Alchemy, they've all got it, alchemy.
Isaac Newton, having discovered gravity, then spent the rest of his career trying to prove alchemy, which is a bit of a waste of his talents, one might say. In comes Adil Rashid for his 5th ball. Oh, that's a beauty. Absolute beauty. The classic leg spinner. Pitched off. Did him all ends up. Nicely taken by Butler. Dot ball.
And rather nicely, got a very appreciative nod back from Johnson Charles, who went, yep. Yeah, there he goes. That was a good one.
It also kept a little bit low, I think.
It did, didn't it? You're right, Nessie. It was, which weren't necessarily pleasing.
Oh.
Got a on this, and that's a heave, which has gone down to long on. Very undignified shot. It'll bring a single down to Sam Curran at long on. A very excellent opening over from Adil Rashid. Just went for 3 runs. West Indies 75 without loss at the end of the 9th over, miss.
Hattie the baddie is with us. Good on you, Hattie. This is Endurance. She sent it typed in Yorkshire, but I can't read it in Yorkshire. She says, it's grand to find out some cricket in the middle of the night and some jelly babies in the cupboard. All I need now is the Jeff of the boycott. And Mog points out, Caesar hit the shores of Britannia and immediately declared how rubbish the locals were. I think William the Conqueror did something similar, didn't he?
Yeah.
But,
he fell over. He fell over when he got out of the
stones.
William the Conqueror. And everyone said it's bad omen. He said, no, I have grasped England. I have grasped it in my hands. And everyone said, oh, we're going to win.
Isn't he really sounded like Laurence Olivier, even though he was French?
It was Marine Alley. And again, he's put the brakes on as well. That's played down to long on by Johnson Charles, who is going along with a run of ball. He moves on to 28 off 27.
Let's jingle up Marine Alley for you.
In the last...
Oh, sorry,
I like it too.
I put him. I've faded him down so you can talk over him.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry not to be able to bring you in too much, Tony. You know it's like this.
That's fine. I've got the next 3 sessions off. I realise the Bear's going to hate me. I didn't realise I'd done that when I looked at it.
Marine Alley round the wicket, and that will in fact be cut off by the sweeper out there. I think that's Phil Salt out there. Hard to tell with my flickering screen in Melbourne, but it's another single.
Mark Zip suggests you've missed one. He says, "Not Nazi punks, fuck off, Forthy."
Well,
Napalm Death liked it too.
I've got plenty of, but don't worry, there's plenty of other Dave Kennedy tracks. I've just highlighted the most famous 2 or 3 there. But yes, Nazi punks, fuck off. There's also 2 Drunk to Fuck. by Dead Kennedys, which is a lovely track. That is played down to Long On by so that's another single. 1-1 so far. Moeen's over. Johnson Charles moves on to 29.
Wasn't that covered by someone else as well?
Probably Mog with a title like that.
No,
Yes, probably.
I'm thinking of someone like Courtney Love or someone like that.
Most likely. Played out slowly into the mid-wicket area and is set quite deep back. I mean, it's a shot at the stumps, but there's no overthrows. Phil Salt managed to hit them.
Now I wonder if we're going to see a bit of Liam Livingston at some point, because the pace on, apart from Topley, who's been a tad more economical, Wood and Archer have both been too hittable, except when they bowled full.
I think Messi might be right. They might be slightly regretting going with 2 express bowlers here.
Yeah, well, that's. I hate to say I told you so, but as soon as I saw the teams, I thought I'm not sure about that.
Hate to say I told you so. That sounds sort of Taylor Swiftish. I'm sure she's got a single song called "Hate to Say I Told You So."
Do you know what? I still haven't heard any Taylor Swift stuff, and I really must. It's a phenomenon that I need to. Bears going, don't bother.
The brakes have been applied there. Last 3 overs have gone for 3.6
because they brought the spinners on.
No,
yes, exactly.
That deputy headmaster tone there once again from Tony.
Yes.
Because you put spinners on. You sound like Barry Davis.
40. What are you doing, boy?
There's great West Australian representation. Barmy James is up in Karratha, WA for work. Currently 24 degrees at 9 a.m. And he loves Rashid's jingle. Thanks, James. He's the coordinator of the Barmy Army in Perth.
Last ball of our time together, and that's cuts upish, wide of the man at point. Phil Salt does the honours, and that's a very respectable 7 off Moeen's first over at the end of the 10th. I shall retire to special comments. James will come into the box, and West Indies are 82 without loss.
The Bears going to slide into the control seat.
Okay. And somebody's just put a copy of the single of Nazi Punk's Fuck Off in front of me, just to show that they know what's going on. I shall leave you with that.
What have Nazi Punks done to anyone ever?
Hello, come on.
Come on. They're people too. They're human beings. Now, hate to say I told you so. Is that not a song by, do you remember that Swedish group, The Hives?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, they hate to say I told you so.
It feels like... It does sound like a Taylor Swift song. As someone who spends a lot of his life at the moment being told by his 10-year-old daughter every album and every track of Taylor Swift's career, I feel like that would fit in. Maybe Lover period, I'm going to say.
Will she be going to one of the Swiftie concerts, your daughter?
Well, unfortunately, no, because she didn't get into her while the tickets were on sale.
Come on, Dad.
Taylor Swift is very much 3rd or 4th on her list of favoured artists, but she still does manage to talk about her pretty much all the time.
Nice. Is your daughter into Taylor Swift, Bear?
No, neither of my daughters are into Taylor Swift. They're into TikTok. Well, one's into TikTok, the other one, I don't really know what she's into, all sorts. She doesn't really have favourite artists. They don't tell us anyway. They never pester to go to a gig.
Yeah, it's quite. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I obviously like spending time with my daughter as much as possible, but I did have a 45-minute train journey where she ran down how all Taylor's versions were different to the original versions of her albums, and I did sort of drift off halfway through.
Yes, I can imagine.
I need to get her into TikTok.
Well, I'll throw you over to James because you're ball by balling. So I'll cue you up. Having seen the balance of the match, it looks fairly evenly poised. Would you say?
Yeah, it's as Deputy Head Tony was saying moments before 200 is the average score on this pitch, isn't it? So West Indies are sort of cruising in that direction, but I don't know. England, it feels like maybe the side's not quite the right side. Maybe
I disagree.
Jordan?
Well, we've got 3 spinners and 4 pacers, and we've got loads of bowling options, which is kind of what you want. And they're fairly decent batting lineup.
Bowl, do we know?
Livingston hasn't bowled. I presume he can do, otherwise he wouldn't be in the side.
Yeah, he's capable.
Yeah, so I don't mean in the wider picture What do we think of Livingston as a bowler? I meant more as someone who had a side strain and has been throwing up. But anyway, the Wizard to continue. Adil Rashid comes. It's wide of the crease this time. Charles goes to hoik it, but doesn't get anything at all, just for a dot ball. I like your Charles Coran apothecary theory, Forthy.
I think so, yeah. Nicholas Puran, I mean, that's a brilliant name for an apothecary.
Again, wide on the offside, but this time he does get hold of it, and that is going high and handsome into the stands for a 6.
Damn. That was 2 googlies in a row, and he guessed on the second one. I don't think he picked the first one.
Yeah, the first one was a sighter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the second one, he said, "Thanks very much, I now know what to do with this," and smashed it out. On the subject of apothecaries, I stayed earlier this year in one of Dr. John Dee's old rectories. I think he had a couple of rectories. Why wouldn't you have a couple? And I stayed in one in Lincolnshire. And an old house it was. Yeah, that was quite exciting to stay there. The thought of it, the actual house was quite like an insane asylum, which was not so great. As Adil Rashid comes in, it's wide again this time, maybe too wide yet. It's given for a wide airplane sign from the umpire.
That must have been an exciting weekend for your children. We're not going to Disneyland. We're not going to Alton Towers. We're going to stay in an old apothecary's house in Lincolnshire.
Adil Rashid comes in again. It's the leg break this time. Well, you say that, but when we turned base metals into gold, they were extraordinarily happy. They enjoyed their Spectre mirrors. They enjoyed communing with demons. You know, just an ordinary weekend in the Hill House household.
That would be exciting.
They also had at this house, have you ever come across one of these? Sorry, we'll just break off as Rashid comes in again. This time it's floated up to Puran on the offside. He cuts it away, I think just for a couple of runs here. They also had, obviously, when you Airbnb it, I always think a hot tub, not an essential, but it's very nice to have. They had a wood-burning hot tub. Have you ever come across one of these things?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Can't you boil yourself if you've got too much wood in there?
It's fucking useless. You cannot get it. I got it to tepid after shoving almost an entire tree into the furnace part and spending 2 hours trying to get it going. Fucking useless.
It makes you feel quite manly, though, doesn't it? Trying to, throwing wood around.
Yes. Well, maybe. I didn't feel so manly when my various nephews and nieces almost started crying because it was so cold. Oh, this is going to be a hot tub. Rashid in again on the legs this time. Puran just works it out for a single. What do you think of the pace that Rashid's bowling here, Bear?
Well, he's slowed down a little bit in this tournament and given it a little bit of air, which I quite like. And when he's been in a bit of trouble, he bowls it a bit flatter. But he always has better control when he bowls, a little pace off. Mr. Henderson says they are wrong choice bowling options though, Bear. Having Wood and Archer together is unwise and creates a long tail. And Jacks should be in for Bairstow. Maybe Jacks for Bairstow. I don't agree with this.
Rashid's just completed his over, sorry Bear, just to cut in there, leaving West Indies on 94 without loss after 11 overs. Back to you, Bear.
I just think I don't mind 2 proper pacemen. I mean, if they get it wrong, it goes a long way. But we've got 4 pacers and 3 spinners, so there's plenty of options.
We got anyone else in the YouTube or Twitterverse?
My says throwing Wood around. Where's the porn bot with some good content now?
Indeed.
Yes,
it's also so easy to be wise after the event.
Well, exactly, which is what Frank Rockefeller basically says. They're only wrong if England loses. Exactly. If we win, then
I'll win again. Wide on the crease this time. It's hit up high, and it is bagged by Brook on the boundary. Finally, England have a wicket.
Yeah, he seemed to hit that up in the air, didn't he? And got underneath it for a change. We'll give him a jingle, and then we can talk some more.
The crowd says, the crowd says, the crowd says you're out.
Yeah, he was just a rev short. He was a touch unfortunate because Harry Brook took a very good catch right on the boundary edge and almost over toppled. It's a very fine line between 6 and out, but he's just the wrong side of that one.
Yeah,
It's
really
not too distressing for the West Indies. They've got such a powerful lineup that in some ways they need. I mean, Charles got 38 off 34. He probably needed to get a move on. I don't think they'll be too upset by the fall of that wicket.
No.
Yeah, he looks downhearted in the extreme though. Maybe he feels that there was more runs left out there. But anyway, new batter is in, and the new batter is Powell.
Oh, the skipper. He's a strong lad.
Runs, though.
Yeah, he hasn't got many, has he? His jingle goes like this.
Rob Man Powell's got an awesome name. It makes him sound like he's a spy.
Makes him sound like he's a spy. Well, he's not a
Maybe
spy. He's captain of the West Indies.
And he's giving off big dick energy here because he has come out in a cap, not a helmet. That's either a statement of intent or he forgot to pack it in his bag this morning.
Well, it's 2 spinners, isn't it? I don't know. It depends what country you're in and your rules for your. I don't think England can ever wear caps, can they? They're not allowed to.
No, I don't think they can. But it's good to see that he's going to waste a whole bunch of time when the seamers come back on. So that's.
Well, can I just ask, what is the point of wearing a cap? I can see the point of not wearing a helmet, but.
Ali just comes in there to the Powell's first delivery and he attempts to chop it out into the off, but for a dot ball. Maybe because of the lights.
Oh,
maybe the lights could be blinding. Okay. Maybe because it looks cool.
I think probably more the latter because they wear them daytime as well.
It's wide again from Moeen and no shot attempted that time. Maybe he hasn't had his trim done recently. He wants to hide that.
It's good over from Moeen. Wicket
once again. Yeah, cut away this time, but I think for no run again. Anime's own. Reece Topley dives down and stops. No, he squirts away for a single there. Yeah, it's a very good comeback because that last Rashid over was expensive.
Yeah, went for about 12, I think. But this Moeen, when you say about Moeen, he just keeps like Old Man River. He just keeps
spinning along. That's good to see. And then he'll come in and score 16 off 7 balls.
Yeah,
off 7 balls. Yeah, this time he comes in, speared in to Pooran, going over the wicket this time, and he fields off his own bowling. He feels like a mountain goat, springing out and springing back up again, belying his years. How old is Moeen now? Mid-30s?
He's 36, yeah.
36. Yeah.
But he's still
he might even be 37. He was 36 last year when he made his comeback, I think, in the Test series. Which didn't really go brilliantly, to be fair.
No, it didn't. But as he comes in to complete this over, he's just taken his 50th T20 international wicket. Now, Powell hits it high. Has he hit it long? It looks very long. It is very long. It's right into the stands for a 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's not so bad, 8 off the over.
Yeah, not so bad. That's a damn good over in the context of things. What's happening on the Twitter live?
There's nothing on Twitter.
Maybe it's YouTube. It's all YouTube nowadays.
It's all news YouTubes nowadays, yeah. Australia's T20 captain, Mitch Marsh, has declared he's cleared to bowl for the rest of the tournament. Okay, that's Adam Newman. George McPherson says, at last a wicket, albeit a bit late. I don't know if it's a bit late. Any wicket is good, it slows things down. Just keeps bowling along. It says, Daniel Keppel music. We're up to date everywhere. That was a big 6.
Yeah, funny thing is T20s, when you've got this many powerful hitters, if Johnson Charles, he really, I'll break off.
No, and so a deal back in again, and just a single taken there. Good news for all watchers of Powell's cap situation. The spinners keep on coming. Go on, 40.
I mean, the locus classicus for slow scoring at the top of the innings was Boycott and Brearley in the 1979 World Cup final when Clive Lloyd, friend of Bear, deliberately dropped Boycott to keep him in.
Is that true? Did that?
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, that's absolutely amazing. That's when you know you're essentially the 12th man for the other team.
Well, yeah, they literally were going 3 runs and over.
Little bit more flight there from Adil. Pal gives it a little nod. They are a big bloody set of units, the West Indies, aren't they?
Yep, they are.
Every single man jack of them. Yeah, David Gower would not fit into this team. Well, for many reasons, he wouldn't fit into this team.
Many reasons. Oh no, there's a turn on that, and there's an appeal there. I don't think it's going to be LBW. It looked a bit messy, really.
What I don't get about this England side, you've got 2 reviews, right?
Yes.
Even if you're not sure if it's out, you might as well fucking review it. Why are you not reviewing?
Oh, he is. He heard you. He got very upset there. He looked like, I always think Josh Butler looks like someone who's just been maybe chastised by Deputy Head Tony. Exactly. Look where he might burst into tears at any second. He very rapidly went from nothing to reviewing. As you say, they might as well. They're 12.2 overs into the match. What else are they going to use it for?
Exactly.
He's like a gifted, sensitive child, Josh Butler.
I'm not sure he's captaincy material, to be honest.
No, I agree. I was thinking, do you remember when I was just seeing this here?
I thought to the naked eye, it depends whether it's hit him on the front pad or whether it's come up.
No, it's hit him under the chin, but he's very low.
He's not that low though. I mean, if it hits you on the chin, I'm pretty sure he's not out.
Yeah, well, it ended up underneath his chin, rather like, that orange game that sometimes people made you play at children's parties, where you have to pass it from one neck to the other.
I don't know. He's down pretty low.
He is down low.
Has he got a tiny little ultra edge on that? That's why they're going over and over.
And the question is the ball still going up, or is it starting to drop anyway? In which case,
I think they're going to conclude that's a tiny little edge. Actually.
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's nowhere near the bat. The bat's around a corner. That's just noise.
Also, pick you up on some terminology there, 40. If you could say it's rock and rolling backwards and forwards.
Rock and roll.
I would appreciate that, because that does make on power sound cooler.
Thanks for the pickup. That's good.
Oh no.
And so we're seeing here the review has been lost because the ball is bouncing well over and possibly would have missed the stumps.
It's terrible review. Terrible review. I feel like saying Alexander Arnold should never be in England's midfield. It's obviously a terrible idea.
Well, it looks like Josh Butler really might burst into tears now. The 4th ball of the over comes in, and Powell steps back as though he wants to work it away in a major way, but just ends up noodling it down the ground, looking a little lost boyish himself.
I think if you were a casual American who didn't know the game, you'd think this is very confusing. How come when they bowl it really fast, they score a lot of runs, and the less adequate bowlers who can't or unable to bowl it fast come on, it doesn't go for many runs? You'd find it very confusing.
Well, the most inadequate of those bowlers, the slowest man, Adil comes in, and there's another single here. This is a really good comeback after his previous over.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, 1.11 from Adil.
Do you guys remember a cartoon from maybe the 80s called The Raccoons? Do you remember this cartoon? Someone out there will remember it. Josh Butler always reminds me of Cyril Sneer, or his son, Cedric Sneer, from The Raccoons. As Adil comes in again, power rocks back, not rock and rolls back, just rocks back, and it's forced out for another single. Good over that. 13 overs gone now. West Indies are 106 for 1. What's happening on YouTube?
Well, Tony Bishop says there are at least 2 noted apothecaries called Nicholas, Culpepper and Hughes, and now pouring.
Yeah, Culpepper. That's the one I was thinking of.
Apothecary is apothecary the person who makes medicines then?
Well,
because I thought it was like a shop or a.
Well, that is an apothecary. I think they're also called.
It's both, they are. Yeah.
If you go around Scandinavia, there's a lovely apothecary. If you're ever in Malmö, there's a beautiful old apothecary in the town square there. It's well worth it. Possibly the finest shop in Malmö, actually.
Isn't an apothecary just a pharmacy?
Yes, but they used to be called apothecary.
But it sounds better.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds brilliant.
It sounds fancier.
The richness of the English language is the Greek word apothecary. There's also pharmacy's Greek as well, I suppose. So that
it does feel like the Islington dinner party salad set might say, I always prefer apothecaries to pharmacies.
Well, Dara Azizi refutes your claim about pace and stuff for Americans. He says not really, because knuckleball pitchers are slow and don't go for many runs.
Okay.
Little Sammy Curran's back into the attack, and his first delivery is on the pads, and Powell can't do anything with it.
They've got a little bit stuck here, haven't they, the Windies?
Yeah,
they have. That, with the exception of the deal over that went for plenty, pace off the ball is working, which is, I guess, why Curran is the first of the seamers to make a comeback here.
I think 186. I think England would be happy with chasing 186.
I think they'd be very, very happy.
They wouldn't bite your arm off, but they would be happy.
They would be nibbling at your fingers, that's for sure.
Yeah, they'd be.
Curran comes in again, intense.
Oof, that's gone a long way.
Dispatched right into the stands for a 6.
2, 4, 6.
Again, don't bowl short.
do not bowl short at all, and maybe take pace off as much as possible. Sammy Curran has probably got PTSD at the moment from his previous experiences in the West Indies, where he got battered more than a Mars bar in a Glasgow chippy. But this is maybe the start of it happening again. The St. Lucian crowd certainly hoping that that's the case. Powell now on 15 from just 10.
When I was a cricket coach of the under-13s and 14, all I said, my only advice was bowl full and straight. That was it.
Well, he's taken your advice this time, Forthy. He's bowled it so full that he hasn't pitched it at all, but it's just pushed down the ground for a single this time for Powell. This is good from Powell, considering he's been struggling a little bit.
He's a powerful man.
He is a powerful man, but he's not had a great World Cup so far. I see where everyone else seems to have.
Driving a West Indian batsman as powerful doesn't narrow it down much, of course.
Yeah, in fact, possibly next to someone like Dre Russell, he's the weakling of the family. They probably carry him around and patronise him, ruffle his hair. Maybe that's why he was wearing a cap before. Poor and facing now that, and Curran is directing traffic here. He's pulling fielders in and out, pushing them around all over the place. He's now got a baby mullet hairstyle with shaved sides.
I was pleased to see that Adam Zampa seems to have adopted. Perhaps Sam Curran is an aspirational figure amongst international bowlers, as he's basically got the same haircut now.
Now this is wide on the offside, but it's pulled round onto the leg side for a very nicely timed 4.
They won ugly with that 4. It's timed well, but it's not in any manual that I'm aware of.
No, it's not. When it's that wide on the offside, you do not imagine that it's going to be. Actually, he sort of bottom edged it in the end, didn't he? But he still managed to time it. Except, Sam Curran, obviously he looks about 10 anyway. But this haircut really does feel like the haircut a 10-year-old might get over the summer holidays. This time it's short, but there's pace off. He attempts to pull and it goes nowhere. Mom, please, can I have a mohawk for the summer holidays? You can, but you're having it cut again before you go back to school.
It reminds me a tiny bit of Anthony, the Manchester United, unsuccessful Manchester United footballer who gurns and grimaces as he's waiting to come on the pitch, Sam Grigg, just to get himself into character.
Yes.
I love that. Run rate over 16 to 20. England have only got into the last 4 overs of 1 game.
Oh, Jesus. This little Sammy Curran comes into again, beats the bat this time, an attempted drive from Poor. Decent over that for Curran, really, after all. 14 overs gone now, 117 for the solitary wicket. What's happening over on YouTube, Bear?
Let me just find out that's on Twitter. Only Tony Bishop. Nicholas Hughes was the son of Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes. What? Really?
Nicholas Hughes?
I don't know who Nicholas Hughes. I never even heard of Nicholas Hughes. It's a coincidence that we discuss fuck off Nazi punks when Sam Curran is playing. Scott Harrison says, in baseball, does the pitcher pitch trash when he pitches badly? Probably. Pitches probably into the arc. Frank Rockefeller replies, no, they haul his arse off. I like the idea of being a pitcher, says Scott Harrison. And Jeremy Henderson says, I'm somewhat shamefaced to admit that a huge number of Australian rules footballers have adopted that dreadful current haircut too. Yeah, well, that's because, well, this is it. I think it's just uncouth down south.
We've got a change of bowling here. We'll cue him in a second, but he's short straight away. It's pulled out to the boundary, gets away with one there. It's, hurry through for 2. But it is Mr. Liam Livingston
who has a jingle
in the house.
Goes like this.
I am Liam Livingston. I play for the Lightning. My one-day kit is blue, but for the tests it's white.
One of my colleagues in one of my co-music club guys, he's the father of an AFL player, and it gives him a lot of kudos within the group. So he's get a lot of respect for being the father of an AFL.
Does he have a shit tash as well and a mullet?
Yeah. In again. This time he pitches it up more, but Powell dances down the wicket and dispatches that straight over his head for a high and mighty 6.
Interesting. Maybe they're going to target Livingston.
Yeah, it looks like maybe that side strain will reappear all of a sudden. We'll see him. If he had a side strain in the shits, he'll be grabbing his rib and rubbing his arse in a second, shaking his head. But he's it looks like he's going to get a severe amount of tap here. Spins the ball in his hands. His slightly odd, creepy goatee beard. Comes in again, floats it up. Now this time it's gone high. How far has it gone? Well, I'll tell you how far it's gone. It's gone right over the rope again for another 6.
Didn't seem to get all of that, did he? But it went far enough.
Do you remember when Tony was sagely saying, well, I think Livingston will have a role to play today, earlier in the proceeding?
Getting smashed out of the park.
Yeah, he was right. He's got a very important role to play. The West Indies say, thank fuck you're in the team, because otherwise this wasn't going to go so well for us. Yeah, this feels like this is an important over here. What can Livingston do now? He's 14 down off 3. Well, I'll tell you what he can do. He can bowl it very, very wide. Powell stays planted to the crease but cuts it out, and that's a dot ball. So, nice comeback in one delivery. Yeah, he always looks he's another unconvincing face, Livingston. This time floated up again. This time it goes high once more, and this time once more back over his head. He's going to end up with the neck strain here. It's another 6.
This is a bad over.
This is a terrible over. He's looking like the guy in One Direction who's not going to have a career after One Direction fold up here.
Well, he'd have made enough money for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's the Zayn Malik. You can have a baby with a celebrity, but that's it. That's all you're going to have as he comes in to complete this horrendous over. He swings at it again. It actually goes behind the wicket this time, and surely that is a catch. It is a catch. He is out, finally. 36 and out. Thank you very much.
Whew. Thank God for that. I shall push off this.
By the time that I do, you'll be gone.
You're taking over now, aren't you, Bear?
I am taking over, and Mog is coming back. Although it looks like Messi has come back. No, Mog has come back. No.
Oi oi.
Oi oi.
Yes,
I think I'm on the roster.
You are on the roster. Yeah, exactly.
Don't want to profane Tony's excellent work.
Oh, they have a look at this at third umpire.
That was out, wasn't it?
Certainly looked out to me.
Looked pretty clean. I guess they're just trying to be thorough with everything.
It's out. Marvellous.
Would you have taken that better? Would you have taken 20
well, yeah, to get him out at the end of it, I guess you would, because you go, okay, we've got the wicket. Hopefully that should slow things down from one end for at least another over, so it halves that amount of runs, and maybe you get away with it and you pull out of it. But 36 off 17 is a useful innings.
Yeah, and it's got him back into some form as well.
Yeah.
Which I think going forward is going to be important for them. And actually, the next guy in, maybe you don't want to see him coming in.
Oh God, it's the big Joey Russ. He has a jingle. But, if I can find him, goes like this.
If Andre Russell's in your hedgerow, to be alarmed now. He's just the DJ for the after show.
I heard Stairway to Heaven on the radio the other day. I haven't heard it in
That's the clean version. The other version says he's in the bushes hiding from a drug test.
Ah. Well, Archer's back into the attack, and his first ball goes past Pooran, trying to drive outside his off stump. There's no run. I mean, Pooran's been kept quiet reasonably. I mean,
he has, yeah.
He's
still there.
He got 98 off 54 balls the other day. He's got 32 off 27 here. There's not to say that he can't. Yeah, he caught that cleanly. Not to say he can't accelerate, but driven again, missed again.
It's a funny one, this one, isn't it? Because I mean, they've slowed down a fair amount. I know they had that brutal over with Livingston just one over ago, but it feels harder to bat on than it seemed originally.
Well, they keep mistiming stuff, and I think the wicket's quite true. So I don't know why that should be really. Archer is in again. It's full. Oh, driven aerial over the top of point though, out to the boundary. It'll be 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
So like a party, everyone is moving in the stands. Looks like it'd be quite fun to be there.
Yeah, that's the rep of this place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's proper. I heard somebody saying that it's because they think it's because, well, one, because most countries in the Caribbean are party places, but if you go to the smaller grounds, people are really into it because they're not served all the time with cricket. They're less blasé, and you get less of the tourists.
Yeah. I was saying I've been to St Lucia. In fact, I've been to Gros.
Oh wow!
Not the ground though. I don't think it existed when I went there. That's full under the bat of Nicholas Pooran through to the keeper, and there's no run. ... 4. That's a pretty good over.
Yeah. What's it like?
When I went, it was really nice. The beach was beautiful, but we sort of found a place in Lute of all places. Someone who obviously owned a house out there. We stayed in this house that was kind of about a 10-minute walk from the Rex St Lucia, which is the all-inclusive hotel. That one's outside the off stump of Pooran again. Goes through to the keeper, no run. The gardener sold us our weed, which was great. And
straight from the source.
Straight from the source.
As it should be, yeah.
There was a little food place just outside because we weren't allowed in the Rex. We could go and use the beach, but we weren't allowed to sit on the seats or use the towels from the hotel because we weren't there. That's driven out again. There's a big edge this time, possibly. Well, Archer's, he's gone. Pooran driven at one outside the off stump's got a slit him nick through. England pulling this back right when they need to as well. He's driven at another one outside his off. Is he going to review that? You don't really review snicks, do you?
I think he's sort of wandered off and then he's just stopped. But I've got to say, this is that was a bloody good over from Archer. It was 4 runs from it.
Quick and all across, and this is where I disagree with. Yeah, he's edged it.
That's out.
Yeah. Has he reviewed it? I don't know if he reviewed it.
I don't know if he's reviewed it, but he's wandering off, and then he sort of stopped like he was playing in a holding pattern.
Yeah, well, he's
gone.
gone.
I've got to take the splinter out of the ball.
He's shaking his head here. He's not accepting it. So whether he's disappointed with himself or with the decision, I don't know. But there's a lot of. It's like a teenager who's been sent to his room and is trying to contain his temper.
Yeah. Well, next man in. Where are we down? Shafane Rutherford, I presume that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a jingle like this. Yeah, but it's a nice island, and then a little food place that did like jerk chicken for about £2, and you go down there every night, have fresh jerk chicken and salad and shit. It was great. Loved it. That was a googly, and it kept low, and they should run through for a single. And there's a bit of a mix-up here.
Really
oh my
nice.
God, they could have had a run out as well. Easy single. It went back past Adil Rashid. There's no one at mid on apart from Long, and he was chasing his own ball. Dre Russell wasn't sure whether he wanted to run, sort of rambled down the wicket.
He was
then
bored
Rutherford
watching
committed,
Rutherford.
and he had to
Yeah,
go,
God.
and he still got through easily. That's such an easy single. 142
Yeah.
for 3, 4 overs. Well, how many balls have we got left? 23 balls left. I think we can keep them down to about 180 here. They'll be doing well, I think.
Yeah, I think they've got to get a move on. It's interesting, isn't it? Because in a team of brick shit houses, Rutherford is like a dog kennel. He's a slender guy in comparison to this. Still hit big, of course.
Adil Rashid tosses that one up, and it's just defended by Rutherford out to cover. And there's now, and of course, two guys in at a crease now. We face two walls between them, which is handy for England, especially when you're going into the 17th over.
Messi notes that the West Indies scored 70 in the last 5 overs against Afghanistan.
Yeah, well...
Oh, Messi, don't ruin it for us.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up, Messi.
So keep those hopes down, you English dogs.
Yes, exactly. That's defended out to cover it again. There's no run. 1 ... this over. Pretty good.
Very good. Very, very good.
In the 17th. That's tossed up onto the pads. They'll be driven back past Adil Rashid. There'll be just the 1 run.
It's always quite good fun watching Adil sort of went to field off his own bowling there but didn't get to. He very much looks like that dad in the dad's race on school sports day, just sort of making up numbers, embarrassing his kid. But I tell you what he is doing, he's bowling bloody well here. After that massive over, he's come back so well.
Yeah. Tossed up though and hit hard. That could be out. It is out. The big man Dre Russ has plumped that straight down to wide long on, and England in clover here really. Dre Russ is a very dangerous man, and he's got 1 off 3 deliveries and he's out. England loving it. Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust. He didn't have to move down there at wide long on, did he? Straight at him.
He pouched that as cool as fuck. It reminded me of when in my youth watching Derek Randall play, when he used to catch and just put it in his pocket. Salt almost caught it as though he was like doing something else at the same time. But now we're seeing lots of St. Lucians with their heads in their hands and their drinks spilling over their laps. This is unravelling at the moment.
Well, yeah, but he's a guy who can score quick runs as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
This guy.
Yeah.
It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. Sugar.
Back after the world's shortest paternity leave, isn't it?
Yeah. First ball is a googly. It's defended back to the bowler, and it's fielded very well by Adil Rashid off his own bowling. That's a great over. Gone for just 2 runs and a wicket in the 17th. That's a brilliant over for England. Who's on socials then? Marky.
Me, probably.
Yeah, you.
Nigel Henderson says, Oman accepted. Our lauded bowling attack can't seem to take wickets. Oh, that worked well. Bye-bye, Rovman. And they've subsequent wickets since then as well. And Kiwi by Day says, after months of preparing the house for sale, selling, buying and moving, I can last relax, aka work from home, listening to your great coverage.
Well, Kiwi by Day, we are selling Gorilla Towers. Oh, I am selling Gorilla Towers because needs must. And it's time of life and the cost of living crisis and the fact that I live in a shit country means I'm going to have to sell a flat. Which means we could really do with increasing our patronage so we can carry on, because we're going to have to rent a space. So if you do love us, and we hope you do, please go to patreon.com/GorillaCricket and become a patron.
The emotional blackmail will continue until you do.
Exactly. We've got 3 months of this at least. That's pulled. Oh, has he got enough on it? Well, he has got enough on it. If there had been someone at square leg, might have been catchable. But nope. First ball pulled out over square leg. 6 runs. Shafane Rutherford. Roston Chase is in the side, but clearly they've decided that he's not the hitter that they need. He's dropping down the order.
And this is a big over for West Indies, because pace on at the start of the match went,
Yeah.
So this is one where they've got to get going again, and Wood's actually got to be canny here.
Well, that's smashed out to wide long on. There's no one there. 2-4, 6-4 to start the over. Good start to the over.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Just a
Pretty
quiet
much in
20
the
off
same
Thistledale.
place. Yeah, but it's pretty much in the same place from Wood there. He's hitting it straighter, but same result as well. Didn't really get hold of it as much. But Wood's got to come up with something slightly different here.
He's got a little bit wider.
Yeah, I think
Do what Joffre was
right.
doing, bowled it very quick across him. Well, he tried, but it didn't hit the deck. It's gone out through cover. There is a wide long off it with mowing. I'll get back for 2 though. 12 off the first 3 balls. Need to come back here, would he?
Yeah, it does, because this is so important, these final 3 overs, aren't they? Because these are the 3 overs that are going to determine whether West Indies have a decent score or are actually quite a little bit below par.
Yeah. I think if they can get to about 180 from here, they'll be happy.
Yeah,
I don't think England will be unhappy with trying to chase 180.
No.
It'll be a good game. Could go either way. See, England want to get a good start.
It's just unfortunate after the previous 2 overs went for a combined total of 6 runs, didn't they?
Yes.
And that got that off the first delivery of this over.
Woody is in again. Pulled again this time. It should go straight to the fielder. It does. Not particularly well hit. And it'll be a single. Pulled the pace back a bit on that. 84.4.
Yeah, definitely. And also just pitched up a tiny bit more, so it was back of length rather than short. Made a big difference there.
Yeah. 156 for 4 with 14 deliveries left.
Yeah, you're right. If they can get, they must be targeting 180 at the moment. That's got to be the target.
If
for the
West Indies do well, they get 190.
Yeah.
Which would be what, 34 off 2 overs roughly.
Oh, good one.
Oh, that is a good one. You're slightly ahead of us, James. Don't know how that is. That's
well, I'm having to go off the TV.
Well, this is what I mean. But you must be on.
So bad.
I don't know what your TV, because mine's straight off a Sky satellite dish rather than off the internet, and it's.
Well, maybe I'm further. The further west you go, maybe the sooner it happens.
Maybe. Anyway, that was into the thigh pad of Romario Shepherd, sorry, and he didn't get anything on it.
But I think actually when England come to bat, it's going to be about how they deal with the 2 spinners, isn't it?
Yeah, well, much to the same degree. That I mean,
yeah.
Wood in last ball's going to be a wide. It's not going to be his last ball. Down the leg side. It's not a bad comeback though. I haven't gone 6-4-2.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, it's all about the spinners. This definitely, because certainly for the West Indies, they've tied all sorts of players up into all sorts of knots, haven't they? This tournament so far.
They have,
and they did it to England when England were over in December.
That they did. Hopefully the last ball of the over, Romario Shepherd facing up. Woody is going to bowl it. This is the 18th over, so 2 overs left. I presume Joffre will bowl out.
Oh dear.
Oh fuck, it's another ride down the leg side. Come on, Woody, sort it out.
Mirror image of the start of the innings with the wides.
Yeah.
But it's interesting this over, isn't it? Because he's sort of bracketed it in a way. The first 2 deliveries were in exactly the same place and both went over the boundary rope, and these last 2 deliveries were in exactly the same place and went for a wide. It seems like when he makes an error, it takes him a couple of balls to correct it at the moment, which is not what you need in this situation.
Well, hopefully this is the last ball of the over. Woody is in again, and he got hit. Ooh, I think it's over the boundary. I think that's 6
Yeah,
runs.
it is, yeah.
That's a shit end to an over.
Yeah, really cool.
No, it's 4.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
I mean, you've bowled fucking 2 wides and then got hit for a 4. I mean, that's poor, basically.
Yeah, it is. And it also, it was a very long over anyway, but it started off bad, it got better,
and then it
went bad again. He managed to put a whole whole novel into 1 over in a T20 match. So I think that's something to be proud of in some ways.
Information dense kind of over.
Yeah, it really
Well,
was.
this is interesting. Sammy Curran is going to bowl the 19th.
Well, that's another 20 runs.
Well, to be positive, he proved in the previous T20 World Cup that he actually can do the death overs, didn't he?
Yes.
But, yes, as Morg was intimating, in the Caribbean, he's proved that he can be smashed for loads of boundaries.
Well, he's coming in. He went for 19 in his first 2 overs. His first ball is chunked up too long on. Are they going to think about 2? They're going to think about 2, but it's not there. Just the 1 run.
Curran is another one like Butler who's got a face that looks like it could burst into tears at any point.
Yep.
He's no Quentin de Kock in that regard, but still.
No, that's true. But you could just imagine it with his grimace that he has when he runs into the crease, fighting back the tears, wiping his eyes.
Wiping them away after every ball.
Yeah, I can do it.
Please believe in me.
I'm sure Mommy's on the boundary edge with a juice box if he does well in this over.
Black currant, his favourite sort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a fruit shoot at weekends.
Well, Sammy Curran is around the wicket to Romario Shepherd, who drives that out to deep wide long off. It'll just be the 1 run.
Good start this from Curran. Needs to keep going on that. I think also I do think that for England to, if they want to have any chance of winning this tournament, I think they need to get Curran going again properly.
Yep. He can be effective. He's just not that quick, is he?
No, he's
using
not,
his variations and getting the right lines.
Yeah, absolutely. But when he gets it right, he's a really potent player. Ooh, for example,
that one is swings off his feet. Does Shafane Rutherford misses it, goes through to Butler and there's no run. I think it was a little bit slower. Yeah, 69.7.
It's an interesting innings, this, isn't it? It seems to go massive over, tight over, massive over. It's very stop-start. There's been no real flow to it at any point.
Exactly. And England will be quite happy with this score. From when they started out, they were going like a train, weren't they? I don't think the wickets become particularly difficult. They just keep.
Yeah. Ooh.
They keep air shotting. Oh, that's hit in the air, but it's gone out to wide long on. They're going to try for 2. They are going to try for 2 and then make it. It wasn't taken cleanly by Butler behind the stumps anyway. But I don't think England won't be too unhappy with that. 1-1.2 in the 19th.
God, no, I think so. In the penultimate over to be in this situation is very, very good. It's just so tense in these 2 last overs, though, isn't it? Because you just think you've done great, but a couple of bad deliveries now from England, and West Indies are right back.
Exactly. A couple of deliveries go for 6, and suddenly that's 1-7-8 with 10. Well, 4-5 balls to go as well. So just don't want to be hit for a 6. 4s ideally no too. Sammy Curran is in, that's wide and smashed out to deep cover. Well, there is Phil Salt out there. They're going to go for 2 and they'll get it. It's a long throw in from there.
But this is alright. If you can get out of this over with 10 from it, I think, or even 8 from it, I think that'll be a decent result.
Yeah, and especially in this exactly the 19th over.
Curran, one of those bowlers who the amount of effort he puts into every delivery, the equation is not stacked up right for what comes out of his hand at that moment. I think in his head he's still the fast bowler in the back garden whilst bowling to Mom.
Yeah, or his brother Tom. Sammy in, last ball of the over, fresh air shot, brilliant. Gets out of that with 6, that's a good 19th over. 168 really for 4, they could try and keep them under 180 here. And bowl a good over and keep down to about 175, 76. If they can keep it down to 8 in the last over. England to be
Mark
reasonably
Island
happy.
says England bat as deep as number 3, so 180 is questionable. Wait, no, it says gettable. My mistake. Sagir's just made an appearance. He's super chatted. 10 of the Australian dollars for your late night efforts and maybe as a midnight snack.
Ooh. And I got some Jaffa cakes and crisps next door. All the proper food groups. Archer's going to bowl the last over. It's gone for 25. That's into the pads. Would have been a wide if he'd got inside it, but instead it's cannoned off Shepherd's pad out to point, and there'll be a single.
It's good. I know I'm being very one-eyed just talking about England here, but it is good when you see this Archer coming in for the final over. Curran's just done a very good stint, the penultimate over. You can sort of see the England team coalescing in front of your eyes about what it could be.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought. I thought in the previous match it helped England to have Bairstow coming in higher up the order so that he wasn't coming in facing spin straight away.
Yes. He'll be at number 3 today. Archer in. That's hit out over the fence. There's no one out at point, and that is 6 runs. Good shot by Rutherford. Not what you needed. It was too wide. It was too short. He's very wristy, isn't he? He really cracks his wrists.
The hand speed through that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Tremendous. He really whipped it.
Archer in again. That's a full toss, driven out towards deep, long off. They'll go for 1. Now they get back for 2.
Yeah, they've got 2 men patrolling that region, haven't they?
They have indeed.
They're covering it, but it's funny this. Every time there's a big shot, the crowd go into full-on party mode.
Yep.
Again, and then when there isn't a big shot, everyone just looks a little bit sad.
They won't. Yeah.
There could have been a possible run out there if the ball had gone to the right end.
Yeah.
Brooke didn't manage to do that. He looks up towards God as though it's his fault. It's not, Harry. It's yours. We got a ball situation again, haven't we?
Yeah. There's a big.
The hand of God's a little bit further south.
There's a big something sticking out. A big bit of stray leather sticking out from the ball. I think you're going to have to cut that off.
This is an umpire's dream, isn't it? Final over, a ball that needs tidying up. This is what you live for.
Get yourself on screen, doing your business.
Yeah, exactly.
We trained for this, boys. We can do it.
Yeah, it's good. They've got the cooler bag of balls has come out. They've got the new one has been selected as the gut wobbles its way back to the wickets.
Is this the 3rd ball change they've had? They lost one or two to a 6.
They lost 2
I think it's the 3rd ball that they've had. There've been some big bloody 6s though, haven't they?
Yeah.
Tremendous to see. You've got to get it. If you're a big hitter and you haven't got one out of the ground at some point in this tournament, you should look shamefacedly at yourself.
Alright, Chef, coming in, 4th ball of the over, 177 for 4 to West Indies. And Shane Rutherford just drills that up to long on. This time it will only be 1.
Yeah, it's good. Better from Archer there.
Yeah.
I know we've had a 6 off it, but this has been a pretty decent over apart from that. West Indies looking though that they will break 180 quite easily now though.
Well, Mario Shepherd's 5 off 5. He's facing up Archer. Bowls it short and he missed.
Oh my God!
Oh dear, He's missed it.
Step on the ball.
It's let me explain. He missed it, Romario Shepherd. It went through to the keeper, Butler, who rolled it at the stumps anyway because they were going for a bye to get Shafane Rutherford on strike. He missed the stumps, and Archer picked it up, threw it at the other end, and missed the stumps, and it went down to long on, and they ran 2 byes.
I loved your sigh and let me explain there, Ben. That feels like me with my children when I'm trying to persuade them to do something. Oh, can't you just do it? Okay, let me explain why.
Last ball, missed again. And this time they don't run through for the bye. They thought about it, but this time Butler threw it straight back to Archer, who then could have run at the stumps and knocked them over, so they decided not to. So they end on a nice round even 180. England need 181 to win, exactly their run rate of 9. I think England will be reasonably happy with that. At one point it looked like West Indies were going to get away to above 200.
Exactly.
But I think we pulled it back reasonably well.
Yeah, Tony was saying before, wasn't he, that the pass score in this tournament on this ground is 200.
I don't know how many games
if we take that as read, 20 runs below that is a damn good result for England here.
Yep, and we've certainly got the batting capacity.
Yeah,
Pitch doesn't
absolutely.
look that evil. Looks like quite a nice pitch to bat on. It's a bit windy.
It's all going to be about the spinners when it comes down to about how England deal with those spinners.
Alright, no one entered the GPL again today. I've been opening it every day and no one enters. Partly because...
Did you mention it at any point?
No, I keep forgetting to mention it as well.
I mean, that could be one thing.
That could be one thing, yeah.
Advertise.
Exactly. But hey. Well, there we go. King retired hurt for 23. That will come out in field, so there'll be a substitute on. Charles, it looked like, I think it's an intercostal or something. I'm sure we'll find out during the break. Charles has caught Brooke Marine, and they've taken it off my screen, so I'll have to go over to Crick Info.
The
horror, exactly. Summary, I want live. Give me this fucking scorecard, you useless. There you go. Brandon King retired hurt for 23. Johnson Charles out for 38 of 34. Nicholas Poran 36 off 32. Robin Powell 36 off 17. That was a good. He took Livingston for 3 sixes and then got out for last ball over. Andre Russell could have hurt us, but was out for 1 off 2. Shafane Rutherford not out 28 off 15, so that was a pretty good innings. And Romaro Shepherd not out for 5 off 7. Bowling figures: Reece Topley 3 overs for 26. Mark Wood 3 overs for 36. Jofra Archer 4 overs, 1 for 34. Sam Curran 3 overs, none for 25. Adil Rashid 4 overs, 1 for 21. Moeen Ali 2 overs, 1 for 15. And Liam Livingston just a 1 over, 1 for 20.
Yeah, it's a funny one, this one, isn't it? Because I think if you look back on it, by and large the spinners did well, although Adil had that 1 over and Livingston had his just 1 over spell that was terrible. But you have to say the seamers didn't bowl brilliantly well. Topley gave his worst performance of the World Cup so far, was a little bit erratic with his lines and certainly with his lengths.
Well, it's just a bit more. I think it's just a bit more of a batter-friendly pitch, isn't it? We've seen quite a lot of bowler-friendly pitches.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that, but I still think that they didn't quite execute their skills as they would have wanted to. But to get away with 180 off that, when they did do well, they were bloody good. And this is a great position for England to be in now. And West Indies, they're still 100% in the game, but they're going to have to be a bit careful here.
Aye, indeed. Well, we'll get back to a podcast, and we will see you in about 5-10 minutes, no doubt. I think it's me and you back on, James, straight after.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
with Messers instead of Mog. So we shall.
You lucky bastards.
We shall see you very shortly. Until then, bye.
Absolutely not. He said, I understand why you would ask that, because from the outside you don't see that side of him, but all his players are well aware that he's almost a bit of a nutter when he's on the field. He's so competitive. So, and then when you put the broken jaw example with that, and you start to get a little bit more of a picture of this character that he was.
Well, I mean, I think from our perspective, as a sort of guerrilla perspective, whilst respecting KP's achievements, we've become possibly somewhat disappointed about some of his his social pronouncements, and he's not been too kind to one or two of our members. It's got to be said. So, possibly, if there was a clinching argument for Kumble, it was being reminded of the facing off KP, and to his credit.
You go to a test match at your local ground, and I remember both batsmen at Edgbaston when I was a kid, and you don't really remember any shots they've played, and you look at the scoreboard and they're 55 not out because they're so clever at just working the field, ones, twos, the odd 4. But both Border and me and Dad had the ability to go into another gear as well and take attacks apart. But you mentioned me and Dad, as a character, he gave Pakistan a real sort of tiger spirit. I know Imran Khan gets a lot of credit about the tiger spirit for the World Cup win in '92, but Javed Miandad had been like that since the 1970s when he came into the team. I'm good friends with his first captain, Mushtaq Mohammed, and he tells me stories about me and Dad, how he was always trying to wind up the opposition, even as 18, 19-year-old. So it just came natural to him. And if you're a rubbish batsman and you're like that, you look a bit silly. But you're winding the opposition up and getting under their skin, and then you're able to go and average 50 in Test cricket after over 100 Test matches, then I think you're allowed to be a bit of a wind-up merchant. And like I called him, is the original street fighter. I mean, the typical example would be that little spat with Dennis Lillee, wouldn't it, in Australia?
Yeah.
Lillee kicks out, and then Javed goes to wrap his cricket bat over his head. That was typical of Javed, who, if you kick me, mate, I'm going to kick you twice as hard back. That was Javed's attitude, and that was really important for Pakistan at the time, because a little bit like the Sri Lanka example, they wasn't overly known for being aggressive. Pakistan, that they first went to Australia in the early 70s, was swore at by the Chappells, Doug Walters, all these guys, and didn't really say anything back. They were overawed and intimidated by it, but the more of the Javed Miandad influence on them helped them to become a little bit more aggressive as a team.
You've got a couple of Aussies in there. You've got Alan Border. I've got Dennis Lillee out from memory. Dennis Lillee, Alan Border,
Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh is my ultimate. I mean, for me, he is the ultimate. Oh man, in cricket.
Mental disintegration.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the phrase I always have in my head with him.
Yeah, definitely. He was an obvious example. And you look at that 100 he got at the Oval in 2001. He should never have been playing in that match. He tore a calf muscle in the 3rd Test, missed the 4th Test, brought himself back for the 5th Test. Alex Stewart said it was almost selfish and a bit of a gamble, because his leg could have gone and let his team down. And I get what Stewie says there, and his leg did go, but he didn't let his team down, because he was a damn fine batsman who was 150 odd not out, and his team, I think they won by an innings in that match. So that was Steve Waugh for you. He just wanted to be there leading his troops.
But there is that mix that you were saying. It's that mix of mongrel aggression, adversity, facing up to injury. Like I said, it's really interesting how many of the players you've cited will have mixed it with either Lillian Thompson or the West Indies attack. Roy Fredericks is fascinating as a character. Kept playing the hook shot, even if it got him out. Didn't care. He just play it again.
Well, he's 169, I think it was, in Perth, in 76. That wasn't just a slog. You can't score that much of an innings, that higher score if you're just slogging. That was serious batting against probably is the fastest opening attack of all time on that pitch. It was incredible bravery. And talk about unlikely characters as well. And the Australian, I would probably almost certainly never have included him myself without speaking to other people. It was Bruce Laird.
Yeah, I was struggling for his name, but you're right, you got him in there.
I found it interesting that his 2 biggest supporters to be in that list were Viv Richards and Michael Holding.
Yeah.
And I think when you've won the respect of those guys for the bravery, of taking on that attack, like I said, it wasn't just about his technique against playing fast bowling. He took some serious blows, particularly in World Series cricket, when they were playing on outgrounds because they were still out of the establishment. They wasn't allowed to play on the test grounds. They were playing on like football grounds on uneven surfaces. He took some serious blows and still scored a lot of runs, and that was the first name Michael Holding came up with, and I asked him his typical example of a cricket hardman.
And he came up with Bruce Laird. Wow. Well, you've got Viv in there, which I guess from that perspective is I just see Viv as part of that Fire in Babylon generation where you just felt the way they were playing their cricket wasn't just about the cricket.
Yeah.
Helped along by the likes of Tony Gregg and Grovel and all of those kind of crazy conversations. Eddie Barlow, I love the fact you got Eddie Barlow in there, because I just remember him
I mean, clearly because he was playing at a time when South Africa then couldn't play for quite a long time. So I remember him probably best for his time at Derbyshire. But you a lot of the examples you give, I think, for him are around his captaincy and the exercise drills and the licking an underperforming county into shape to become, a really, really top kind of one-day side. You've got Mike Atherton, of course.
Yeah.
Where everyone will remember the face-off with Donald. There were so many other things, but equally remember he had the back problems all his life, like crazy. As did Dennis Lilly, who was also in there. So I guess an ultimate question then.
We are back.
Hello.
That was a very short
James,
break.
You've adopted the Mog approach of coming from the void.
Yes, exactly.
I look like a shit Caravaggio. The one that he threw in the bin and thought that's not working.
I've got to scold you. I've got to say you're not a very good uncle if you can't even boil your nephews and nieces alive. I think that's poor show.
Well, do you know what? I can give it a good go. Let's just say life's not completed quite yet. I did once, I did once as a joke. I have a nephew who's, one of those kids who just wants to fight all the time. And as a joke, I threatened to bog wash him and held him over a toilet, and found that was the snapping point where he became a child again and just cried deep.
Excellent.
And complained to his mum about me, which was not so great. Nice guy.
Okay. Right, we're back.
We are back. Now let me play some jingles. This guy's back.
Get up on there. So salty, Phil is here. Want you to push it good into the offside. Scores runs around the park. There's nowhere you can hide.
First ball is facing up to, works out to long on for a single. Bowled by the bowler is, interesting choice. It is, if I can find him. Where the fuck is he? Yeah.
A kill won't appeal in vain. A kill is a real Hussein.
And England's
Prior ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's, Joss Butler.
Face up to Akil Hussain. That one's comes into him. Defends it back to the bowler and there's no run.
Yeah, nice amount of turn. So Hussain, as I'm sure our listeners are aware, will, I imagine, bowl at least 3 in this power play if they can get away with that. That's usually their approach, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's
I don't mind
10
that.
wickets already in the World Cup. He's been looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he and Moti are going to be the key to this for the West Indies.
Yeah, we were saying that before. Totally agree, Messi.
Just knocked into the offside, no run.
Yeah, they've operated on a superb level, and also a bit of recent history. England did not cope with them particularly well on their T20 tour over here, did they?
No, they didn't. He bowls a lot of flat stuff that seems to just come into the batsman, not a lot of turn.
Yeah, and his mate's more the floater, isn't he? When he comes on a little bit later. But yeah, a damn fine operator to have up front.
Akil Hussain comes in. That one, again, it seems to come in with it. It's like an arm ball every time. Comes into the pads, just works into the leg side. I get back for 2 though, as it's into a gap out there.
Who is that with the shock of pink hair?
That's Shimron Hetmeyer.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That is
draw your attention to yourself when your career's waning.
Yeah. Exactly. That feels like his media manager had a word with him. Just shush it up a bit. Peacock on the field.
He's always done that. He's had blonde bits and Akil Hussain, again, that's outside off stump, driven by Butler, but only as far as mid-off.
It's hard to get away, isn't he, Hussain? It's really hard to get away. It spears in on you.
Yeah.
And then that little bit of turn, that turn that's just enough that it just keeps following you.
Well, that's it. It doesn't turn. It just comes into you. I don't know what he does really. It's almost like he bowls it sort of like a seamer.
Yeah, it feels like a horror film as a spin bowler. Just when you think you've escaped it, the ball just follows you a little bit more.
Well, last ball of the first over.
Yes.
That's just played up towards long on. He'll get himself a single. 5 off that. England don't lose a wicket though. And Salt is 2. Butler is 3. England 5 for none after 1.
Muttley has reached his limit. He says, thanks and good night, love and sausages. Cricket on Espanol says, Butler's 7th all-time run scorer in T20 World Cups. 865 behind Dilshan, Warner, Chris Gale, Joe Wardener, and a couple of unknown folks, Sharma and Kohli. Dara Azizi says 180 below par. Jean Zina says, who will win? Good question. And Mog says Siri Kumar Yadav went the shocking pink in his hair once. That didn't last, did it? Adam Newman says West Indies are the first cricket test team to defeat Australia in a pink ball day-night test in Australia at the Gabba in Brisbane 5 months ago. That was Australia's first ever loss. You're right. In a
pink ball, yeah, true.
Great test match too.
Yeah, it was. At the other end, I'll give him his jingle after the first ball.
Oh,
comes in. It's onto the pads. Goes down to the man on the 45. It'll be a leg bye. It's still quite windy out there. It's this man.
It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. It's all about Romario. Shabbat.
Yeah, and umpire Raza desperately holding on to his hat in this wind there. He's like a dad on a beach on a holiday.
Yeah.
Is this personal experience you're speaking of?
Yeah, okay, naturally. That's my holiday operation, holding on to my hat and holding on to my swimming shorts.
Shepherd in second ball.
Nice.
That is nice. Played, but in front of that man is on a 45. It was a wrong angle from Shepherd, and Butler gets it away nicely down to the boundary. England off on their boundary count. Just worked nicely round the corner.
Yeah, and I think if the West Indies innings shows us something, it's that there's going to be overs where maybe you're struggling a little bit, and then you've got to make sure there's big overs in between.
Yeah.
But I like Butler there, not trying to smash it, just gently guiding it, placing it perfectly.
Getting it outfield's reasonably paced. That one he just drops into the offside. They'll get
And wait till
through
the
for a
ball
single.
starts swinging a bit before going crazy.
Yeah, because he is getting some swing here, Shepherd, isn't he? With his massive body and massive neck and his tiny little head that he comes in. But he's getting quite appreciable swing actually up front.
Yep. Scores 19% of his runs behind square. Joy. What we all need to know.
Yeah, versus pace, very specific. Be interesting to see how Salt goes here. Because he did so well, didn't he, in the T20s at the end of last year against the West Indies?
Yeah, well, that's down leg side, and it's going to be a wide. So really this over has cost 6-7.
It's interesting. Topley and Wood each bowled 4 wides, which I definitely wouldn't have had Wood in that team. I would have had Archer there. Sorry, not Archer. Jordan.
Possibly. That one is a good ball by Shepherd. Just played back to the bowler, and there's no run.
I agree with you, Messi. Actually, I think Jordan's variations are more useful on this kind of wicket than the straight up pace.
And I think England missed him in the field. Their fielding was pretty ordinary.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. As we're seeing on screen, oh my God,
Couple of drunk English people.
A drunk gammon wearing a dreadlock hat.
Oh God.
Yes. Down the track comes Phil Salt, pulls it square out to the man on the boundary.
It's fucking sod's law, isn't
Single.
it? That's the hat that's not going to be blown off by the wind.
It makes his country proud of him.
Yeah, exact. That is Brexit in an action. Go to your country and culturally appropriate something to do with it in the most hideous way possible, you're welcome. The best of Britain. Good over this from England, though. Oh, lovely.
And again, nicely worked by Butler. Last ball of the over has worked past that man on a 45. Again, lovely little shot. 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
England will be happy with that. 11 off the second over.
You're up with the stars, Bear. Mike says Mike Atherton also said he bowls a steamer at the same time you did, Bear. I think Bear put it better though myself, as he always does, of course.
What do you mean by that? Who?
Atherton said exactly the same comment as you. Clueless middle-aged man says he feels 170 is par. He said that before the end of the West Indian innings. I reckon 180 is spot on par. Dara is easy, he thinks it's below par. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Well, I think with the start they got, I think West Indies should have been looking at more. Should have been looking at 200.
Yeah.
I think England did well to drag them back to 180.
I agree. Yes.
This is a matchup we want to see. Salt versus Hussain. How he's going to deal with this?
Well, indeed. Second over, I quite like the idea of getting Hussain out of the way. That's the thing. Driven square by Salt, but there's an umbrella field out there, and hit straight to the fielder, and there's no run.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial, these Hussain overs, and it's going to be crucial to see what the patience of Salt is like here.
That one is the arm ball again that comes into the batsman. He plays it out to cover, and there's no one. I mean, there's a backward point, a point, cover, extra cover, mid off. There's 5 players all in a line, and you're offside. It's difficult to get it through there. You've got to get it over.
It really is.
I don't mind if someone takes a chance. That's what you're there as the top order. Goes back past the bowler, inside the man at mid off. And it's going to get 4 runs. I think there's a bit of a leading edge, but you know what bats are like these days. Sorry.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, jeez. 4 runs.
Now my innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Yeah, that says everything about bat technology nowadays. That was a real leading edge there.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad ball at all.
No, not at all.
Happens in T20s.
Ooh,
that's a big heave by Phil Salt. I don't think he got anything on it, but it was dropped by the poor man behind the stumps anyway. No run.
No, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place here, isn't he, Salt? Because he wants to get him away, but he's just so damn difficult to get hold of.
Well, you've got to put the pace on it, haven't you, with the spinners? That's the thing.
Yeah, he's really struggling here a little bit. So, but then again, most batsmen have struggled against Hussain this.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting against spin. It's never easy. Hussain comes in.
No, never easy.
That's drilled up towards long on. I presume Andre Russell's down there, and it'll be a single.
Still 5 from the over though, thanks to that leading edge. Now we're looking like that. There was
an edge. So that was a drop by Poran.
Oh dear,
that was a very poor piece of keeping.
It was.
It really was.
Straight into his gloves and arm.
Bottom edge. Well, I wonder if they're going to live to regret that, because if Salt can get going.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I mean, it's like a. That's interesting.
He's
isn't
giving
it?
signals
He's
like
giving
a baseball.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's just defended square on the offside. That's a man on the 45, short third man, and it'll be a single to any over. Salt will still to strike.
Stephen Kelk has dragged himself out of bed at what it is it 4:30 on a Dutch morning? Today I woke to a rain of runs. Carl Herbert says, an Aussie complaining about English tourists, poor cultural appropriation. Enough said. Have you ever seen a Kontiki tour? Spot on. And New World Cricket says, love that song. We've got some pretty ace jingles, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's true.
You can access them all if you become a patron.
Oh, that's great.
Now, we need to do something about our Patreon page. I went to increase my patronage by 50% and I can't find an option to do that there, so we need to change the page.
You just have to choose another tier. I don't think you can just increase it by 50%.
But the tier differences are huge once you're over $10.
Oh, yes. Well, there isn't another tier, is there? There's a sponsorship after that. I suppose you could have a pay what you like one. That was worked out to deep square leg for a single, but then what would you get for that?
Satisfaction.
The one thing it turns out that money can buy: satisfaction, feeling good about yourself. But we've got Dre Ross bowling now, haven't we?
Oh,
bit of a change up.
Going through the changes, Dre Russ is in. Phil Salt plays that out. Can't beat mid-wicket. They should get through for a single though. Let's give him a little jingle. It's this guy.
If Andre Russell's in your hedgerow, to be alarmed now. He's just the DJ for the after show.
Well, England will be reasonably happy. They haven't lost a wicket. They're not going on a great pace.
I think that's right, and I imagine they're 2 out of the 3 overs through the Hussain opening spell. I imagine he'll have another and then he'll drop out for a little bit. So that's been navigated so far well.
Indeed, Dre Russ is in. Slower ball, beats the infield. Goes out towards the boundary. Robin Powell chase it down. They get back for 2 though.
I tell you one thing that's very noticeable so far in these first 3 or 4 overs is that Buttler is timing the ball extremely well.
Yes.
He looks in very fine nick.
He does indeed, doesn't he? He got a decent 80 in the warm-up games against the Pakistanis.
Yeah.
He got some runs in one of the previous games.
Yeah.
Feels like this is the sort of game that's made for him.
I think they
steps
should be
back,
to run out.
smashes that into the offside. Not as hard as he didn't time it as well as I thought actually. Dropped just short of the man at cover. Q ended it really, and there is no run. Tried to give himself room, took a step back.
Yeah.
Andre Russ bunged it wide.
What were you saying, Messi?
Should be bowling for a run out here, in my view. And I think Bear should be betting on a run out.
Andre Russ
Good odds
in.
at the moment.
Yeah, I imagine it will be at the beginning. Oh dear, poor bit of fielding at backward point. Might have got enough on it to stop it from going to the boundary. They should get 2, maybe 3. Austin Chase chases it down. They do get back for 3, in fact.
I like this over as well because we've got 7 from it so far, and it feels like it's been done in a really safe way. No kind of like flashy risks taken. Yeah, sure, he stepped away for a couple of times, but he's batting sensibly but aggressively here.
Yeah. That was just poor fielding, wasn't it, to allow him to
Yeah, it
get
really
3.
was poor fielding. Really should have get that. That's lazy fielding. Really.
Yeah. Last ball of the over is down. That's gone a fucking mile.
Whoa!
Fucking hell.
I don't know where. Has it gone all the way up?
Has that gone on the roof?
Has that gone over the roof? It's a massive shot. Salt has come down the track. I think he's hit it out of the ground. Maybe with the wind. 13 runs ended off that over. That's a good over for England. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's gone up. I lost it in the lights. I can't even see it. There it is.
Yeah, well, the cameraman lost it, didn't he? On the, he was sort of
it didn't go out of the ground.
Below it.
It went a long way over the sight screen, though.
It was like a magic trick, like a low-rent Las Vegas show. We saw the ball, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. But it was pure. It was peak Salt, if you could imagine that.
Yes. Mog says he's pretty sure there's a non-standard pay option on Patreon. He's going to check. Yeah, I couldn't find it if there is. Mike says I do pay what you like because I don't really care for the other perks. I don't have time for that. But that's just me. Stephen Kelk says you can adjust patron subs other than jumping to the next tier. Up mine a while back by €1 or €2, but a bit tricky, but it can be done. Maybe we should have a specific find a new studio donation tier.
That's a good idea.
That is not a bad idea.
That's a good idea.
This is worked into the leg side. Out to square leg, and there's a single. Well, it turns out that England are dead level after 4 overs with the Wendy's. They were 36 for none. We were 36 for none.
Which is great because the West Indies had a really tremendous start, and then our spinners pulled it back. But their spinner's on already, or one of their spinners. So
yeah, and he's in his third over as well. He's saying he's in. That's played by Salt out to the offside. There's no run. Yeah, I think England will be reasonably happy with that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think without wishing to sound too boycottian, I think let's make sure that we don't lose a wicket in this over, because then we'll probably have seen Hussain out of his first spell.
Aye.
Yep. I think King's injury actually hurt the West Indies quite badly.
He did. Oh, that's a good shot by Salt. He's
very
managed to pierce that offside field with a flick of the wrist. Gets it in front of the man at cover. He's a little bit deeper than everyone else. Gets it through there, and it's going to be 4 runs.
Yeah, what I like about what Salt's done here is it feels like he's figured out a way to play Hussain. He was struggling against him, those balls arrowing in on you. But it feels like his brain's ticked over, and now he's cracked. Oh, okay, here's a way I can actually milk some runs.
But I think you just go to leg, don't you, and try and hit him through the offside and try and find a gap.
Or give yourself space and off.
Because he doesn't bowl it that full that you can come down the wicket at him, and he's quite flat.
There you go, exactly what you were saying.
Well, that time he pulls it, I think he was trying to get that more behind square and rolled his hands on it, but he got it out to deep square leg. To come back for 2, that's good running. Because it was straight to the fielder. It's a long throw out there. Maybe it's into the wind from out there as well. It's not. No one's managing to get it on the full to the keeper from out there.
Yeah.
2 runs off that, so 7 off the first 3 balls of this Hussain over. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, he's gone for 6 and over.
I think this is good. I think they're handling Hussain in a really smart way. I mean, often this team gets criticised, doesn't it? That it's just young, dumb and full of cum kind of cricket.
Yeah.
But this has got a little bit of smarts involved in it as well.
Well, England are now favourites, 55-45 on the old win predictor. That's pulled.
That's such a good way of putting it, James.
They're gone for the single and they got through again. That was just straight to mid-wicket and they got the single there.
Yeah, Hussain looks... His face is tightening with every delivery here, isn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't get hold of that at all, Salt, but he's still got the run.
Yeah, he got it off the splice, really, didn't he?
Yeah.
Carl Herbert suggests maybe we set up a GoFundMe for Guerrilla Cricket.
We've done that before. It's sort of time limited. I'd rather do it for Patreon because that one is the arm ball. It's just played back to the bowler. Last ball of the over. No runs. 19. He's gone for 19 in 3 overs. Saying because we need the money to come in every month because we're going to have to pay rent. That's the end of the over. We're going to have a switcheroo. Tone's coming in.
Okay,
coming in.
I'll do one last
Mog's
message.
coming in.
Scott Harrison says nearly midnight here in Brazil. 5 a.m. flight to London soon. Come on, England. There you go, Mog. I'll catch up with you at over 15.
Thanks very much, Messi. Welcome, Tony. Welcome, Mog. It's an experienced midfield, anchoring early second half. These guys have seen it all before. Mog, you almost look like you're wearing an England tracksuit top.
This is actually this is the Nepal 2024 World Cup top. Thanks very much.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You managed to get that in Ormond Market, did you?
Just popped down to the local corner store. They had all the nations available.
Well, as fascinating as that chat is, there is a new man into the attack, and it's going to be Alzari Joseph.
Am I bored by boring? It's Alzari Joseph.
Oh, yes, you are. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'll be as fascinating as I want. And West Indies, first ball from Alzari Joseph, has met with a 4 through deep mid-wicket by Phil Salt.
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4s are for, to get funky on the dance floor.
Well, much more of this, and England will be booking their... Where would they be due to play a semi-final? Were such a thing to occur? Well, we can talk about that.
It's North Sound or Barbados, isn't it? One of the two.
Yeah.
It'd be one of the bigger islands, I would assume.
Comes Alzari for the second ball. Long way to go yet. No complacency here. Cricket's not coming home yet. And that looks like it. Probably another 4, but Rutherford sort of takes it from right next to the Toblerone as he stopped it there. I'm sure will they inspect that?
If they inspected the one in the English innings, then they certainly should check that one.
So he sort of slightly misfielded. I think he's okay. Rutherford doing the fielding down on the boundary there. They seem content with that. The England 50 is up. Salt's on 28 off 18, but the 20 off 14. And the 50 came off just 33 balls. In comes Alzari Joseph again. Right. Pings it towards Salt's pads. He turns it round the corner. He moves on to 29.
Very lively bit of fielding that by Akil Hussain. It's an excellent dive. I mean, win predictors are marvel, isn't it? I mean, between innings, it had 62% for the West Indies. So even though they're 20% under par for this tournament, oh, sorry, they were 20 under par for this tournament, they still had West Indies at 62 to win. Two of the three have been won by the team batting first. So there is that element to the equation, and we don't know really what this ground does later at night, which of course is where we now are.
Zari Joseph in again, this time to Josh Butler. Seems slightly less of the strike. His left shoulder twitching. And can't get that one away. Dot ball. There used to be this theory that you knew when, I think Mark Wood suggested that you knew when he was going to unload on the ball by his twitching shoulder, but it turned out maybe that was, I won't say a double bluff, I'll say a bluff. Double bluff will be incorrect.
Doesn't have to be a conscious thing to be a bluff.
That's an existential question for the listeners.
Please write in.
Alzari Joseph in for the fifth ball of the over to Josh Butler. Ooh, his left shoulder's going a go-go there. Can't really do much with that one. They come through for either a bye or a leg bye. We'll find out. Probably a leg bye, is it? No, a single. No, neither, in fact. So 4-2-1.1. This is Alzari's over. Just going for the 8 runs so far. The last ball will determine whether it's been West Indian or England over.
Well, also the power play generally. Remember, the West Indies were 54 without loss at the end of their 6. England need 2 to equal that.
It's pretty well 50-50.
It is pretty well 50-50.
Can't really pick a winner from
54,
here.
52 to be precise.
Stay with us, whether you're in chipping Sodbury, Chippenham, chipping Norton, Charlton,
Cockfosters, something.
Cockfosters,
Greater Piddle, Lesser Piddle, Little Piddle.
Sipping champagne in the Cotswolds. Stay with us.
Even if you're up in fucking Austria.
And Salt has got hold of most of that. Has it gone all the way? Sort of dispatched it over his shoulder. Just 4? Just 4.
No.
No, 6. It's 6.
I hope it was a 6. I've just played the jingle. Yeah, 66 metres worth of 6.
6 metres 6. All the 6. The number of the devil, and the devil has got into. I won't.
And that was the jingle you were playing too.
The diabolical metaphor there. 54 for none was West Indies after 6 overs after the power play. England 58 for none. I'll throw over to Mark.
Not really much new stuff, but I will repeat my comment that I'll start tweeting billionaires again to try and extort some money out of them for the guerrilla purposes, because it worked so well last time. Elon Musk was very generous.
You could try being nice to them.
Fuck off.
Well, it's just a thought.
I don't think that's going to cut the mustard.
Demanding money with menaces.
Well, they're not literal menaces. I mean, I'm not waving an axe at them yet.
You do worry. I mean, this is going to be interesting. Gutikesh Moti, who's had a super tournament so far.
Super tournament, super Moti. Yeah, it's he's into the attack. So this is as Nasser Hussain would say, this is the match right here. He would say something like that. Moti, left arm slow, round the wicket. Will England have found a way to negotiate him? Butler steers it round the corners to square leg. They think about a single. They decide there is a single. England tick over to 59 without loss. one or two technical issues there, all solved.
No, I was looking for Gutakesh Moti's jingle, and I now have learnt how
were
to
you?
use the search engine in the jingle cart.
How can you do that? Okay, that's nice.
It's the dawn of a golden age.
Well, it is, so here he is.
From Georgetown beyond where he had his first nest to his debut against Bangladesh. He ain't no kid, but his face is fresh. An island boy named Wicket, who took his chance when spinning the ball in his second test, got a 13-hole. Go, 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 Monkey, go, go, go. Go, Monkey, go, go, go. Go, Monkey, go, go, go.
Still going.
Yeah, sorry, I'd better turn it. It's a Jeff Perkins opus.
A real 12-inch remix from the mid-80s, that one. England, that ball went for 2, and this ball from Gutakesh Moti has gone for played at Triumph Covers, and they will come through for a single, I think, yes. Run rate's currently 9.54 and the required is 8.8, so England right up with the rate. All good so far, no lost wickets. And that's just played off his toes into the empty mid-wicket area. They think about going back for 2. I think they successfully have achieved that. So 1-2, 1-2. They'll be quite happy with negotiating Moti in this manner. The score moves on to 64.
He's been pretty effective throughout this tournament, has Moti. 1 for 24 against Papua New Guinea, 1 for 6 off his 2 against Uganda, 3 for 25 against New Zealand, and then 2 for 8 off his 4. 2 for 8 off 4 overs. That's 2 and over against Afghanistan.
And he's pulled that one down, a faster one, pushed through wide but not a wide. Butler cuts it, but Moti wins that little mime battle because it's cut straight to the man at point, dot ball. Last ball of the over. And that's a more orthodox, not just an orthodox shot, a beauty of a ball which beats Butler on the outside edge. The classic left spinner's leg spinner's delivery. I think they'll check it for the stumping, but no one seems remotely excited.
While you're doing it, yeah, he also got best bowling in the England series of 3 for 22, which he got at hang on, 3 for 24 in Trinidad. He got Phil Salt then, and Harry Brook and Liam Livingstone.
We're going to assume that his first over's gone for 6. Decision is pending. Just while we sort out the paperwork, as it were, throw over to Mogg, see if anything's happening.
Is his foot raised?
Oh, nope.
I don't think so, but it could be.
I don't think so. I think it's just
turning rather than lifting.
The foot, that is, not the ball. But yes, I think you're probably about right there.
Do they let Blind Joel do the third umpire?
Not tonight. No, I think I can tell you who the third umpire is. I do remember.
Rather sadly, there was a Bury FC banner on the boundary edge, a club that no longer exists, of course. It's Roston Chase who's into the attack. Okay, interesting. Not one of the 2 premier spinners for West Indies, but they've obviously spotted this is the way to go. Single off the first ball.
It's Roston.
Hendo was
Roston Chase.
Heavy dub stylings for Roston Chase. Jingle machine. Joss Butler facing up to the aforesaid Roston. Flexes his knees, gets it out on the offside through the vacant point area, comes through for a single. So rather as England managed to put the brakes on with their spinners, similar thing happening here, Tony.
Yep. Again, the much debated Wood selection. I tend to agree with those who think it wasn't the right move.
Chasing again, and that one's drifted onto the pads. But no great damage done as far as the West Indies is concerned. Just turned round the corner. They'll come through for a single. 3 singles so far.
For England, of course, it worked up until the point that Liam Livingstone came on, and then the wheels rather came off the spin's the best option approach.
You've actually got to be a good spinner as well. You can't just be a spinner. Down the wicket comes Joss Butler. I think he's been given. He came a hell of a long way down.
He was literally halfway down the wicket. He was. But that doesn't matter these days with DRS, does it?
But you've got to be sure. I mean, haven't you got to be guessing when you've come
He
about?
can't believe it. He's waiting, but I don't think he's got it. I mean, in terms of was it in line, I'd say 100%.
Yeah.
But he was
I
a
think
long way
whether
down.
you're guessing or not, and no one knows what would have happened in life, but
The algorithm is doing some very heavy lifting.
There you go, it's Shah Fadullah.
On this one.
anything could have happened to that ball. Didn't it hit his bat as well, by the way?
No, I think it was straight onto the pad.
Okay.
I think
Look,
he is
it
in
might
trouble
be
here.
out, but it's a very unfortunate way to get out, in my opinion, when you've come 3 strides down the wicket. It would never have been given once upon a time, of course. But, yeah, the bowlers will say out is out.
Someone else is... I think... someone in the crowd... No, it's pad first.
And it's pretty straight, and the way this technology thing works, so they'll assume it'll go on, if it hits on the full, in a straight line. So he probably is in trouble, to be fair.
Yeah, he is. 3 reds.
Hitting halfway up middle. And, okay, so maybe, as we look at it there, maybe that's not the worst decision in the world, because it hit him just above the ankle roll. It was straight, hit him on the full. But, you know, if it hits him on the full, who's to say it wouldn't have turned a lot? That's the thing I would say.
I wonder if they had the spinner is bowling indicator clicked when they did the calibration.
It's one of these, though. He's gone.
He's gone, anyway.
This is interesting as well.
No,
we
we
can
know.
talk over this, yes. Well, while Billie Holiday is just finishing, we'll jingle up Moeen Ali. Here he is.
Our bitch and touch. Move over, AMLO. I like it too much. Move over, AMLO. You're one hairy dish. I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
41 runs off 3 innings, strike rate of 195. That's very Moeen. He's in somewhat earlier than he sometimes is. Roston Chase is going to come round the wickets to Moeen's left-handed stance. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, he has been elevated up the order.
And he wafts at that one, but that's okay. You need to waft a bit in this form of cricket. Goes on the bounce to the man at short third, dot ball.
Where he's made runs, he has made them reasonably quickly. He got 25 or 15 against Australia, and then 16 off 6 before he got Trumpelmaned against Namibia.
That is one superb over, completed by Roston Chase with another dot ball. It's 1 for 3. It's exactly what West Indies is looking for. That might have put the equation back in the West Indies score.
Prior to that over, Nigel, the voice of doom, Henderson said, "We started this game like against Australia. We could still be doomed."
It's dragged it back to 54-40. 54-46.
And there's a bit of affection purchasing from Jeremy Henderson, who has slapped a super chat in for 50 of those Australian little Aussie battlers.
Oh, wow.
Saying towards a new studio until he can increase his Patreon.
Thank you for that, missus.
Lovely people. Moti into the attack is a dot ball to Phil Salt. He'll be of course, the anxiety will transmit itself to the England batsman, who will start taking more and more risks. As he does there, Phil Salt, because he opens up his stance and manages to smash it down to long off for a single, put Moeen on strike. You see Johnny Moobs Bairstow getting himself all worked up. A lot of furious chewing in the dugout.
Did you call him Johnny Moobs?
West Indies at 51%.
Did you call him Johnny Moobs Bairstow?
Yes, is that inappropriate?
No, I just wanted to check I'd heard it right.
Yeah,
that was the jingle for Graham Smith. He had moobs like Jagger.
I think they're
It's
finely
68 to
honed
1.
pecs, aren't they, in the gym? Not flappy moves.
Hours of work put into them, I'm sure.
That's another word for it. Moti left arm over and swept by Moeen Ali. And has that gone all the way? Yes, it was. That's a very welcome boundary.
Dropped it too short. Just dropped it too short. And it invited that sweep shot, which had to be still expertly executed, which it was. But he did drop it a bit short.
It's a pretty textbook shot to that, actually. Wouldn't have been out of place in a test match, nor would that. That's played through the vacant mid-wicket area. They come through for a single. Moeen's coming to the party. 6 off 4. Got 1-4-2 from Moti so far this over.
Just behind the rate, England. The rate's 9 and just over 9.5. They're going at a shade over 8. So
won't be too concerned as yet, of course. There's still 11.5 overs to go, and they've just lost the 1 wicket. That's okay. They'll be hoping to see the spinners off, I guess. Ooh, that came back quite a way, actually. Getting a bit of purchase on that one, Moti, and just about kept out by Moeen. Last ball of the night. Reverse swept round the corner, and I think that will indeed go all the way for one of these.
yeah, it was very fine, and it is one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Moeen going very nicely. He's 10 off 6. England 78 for 1 at the end of the 9th, Mog.
It's round about where they need to be.
Carl Herbert, says Google win probability is better as he believes it's linked to betting markets. So no problems there. And the bookies apparently still have England as firm favourites, according to Messi. I should have also said before, play the Super Chat jingle. But,
if I knew where it was, let me have a look.
Search function, Tony. You've learned the search function.
Yeah, well, that's not necessarily there. Let's have a look.
England need 103 of 66 at 9.36 runs per over. Would have been out of the question only a few years ago. Not anymore. In comes Roston Chase, right arm slow to Phil Salt, who can't get either way. Straight into the covers for a dot ball. Pensive Jos Butler in the dugout looks on. He's helpless to be able to contribute now. Given out LBW, despite the fact being rather a long way down the wicket. Roston Chase in again. Opens himself up. Phil Salt again can't get it past that man at cover point. The dot balls are mounting. Will it be playing with his head? He's 41 of 28. He should stay calm. In again. Oh, and that's drifted down the leg side. I imagine that will be a wide. It is a wide. Indicated thus by Nitin Menon.
I found about 5 different Super Chat jingles.
Are you boasting or complaining? In comes Roston Chase, and that is Hoyt down to long on. And it'll just be a single, so this is a good over so far for the West Indies.
Here's one of them very quickly then.
YouTube Prime Super Chat. No shipping unlike the bucket hat.
Just a quick shout out for Paul Grubby Howarth, who is staying with us through the night in his Tooting residence. I think he's Tooting, isn't he?
He is Tooting.
Yeah.
It's where he lives, not what he's doing currently.
How do we know?
Moeen. Well, I say, I think that there is. What did you smile? I don't know. He's just out-thought Moeen there. He didn't get a little edge. I thought for a second that he might have done. Straight through to the keeper. That kept low, interestingly.
Has Perham taken a ball cleanly yet?
Well, that's the apothecary's curse, and that's played out to mid-wicket for a single. Oh, and there's a big dive, and there's a big appeal, and he was.
I think that's tight.
West Indies look interested in this one.
Yeah, I think that's very tight. He did put the dive in, did Moeen, but I think that's going to be worryingly close. It was an excellent throw.
Decision pending.
He only seems to wake up to it a bit late. No, he's in.
Oh, he's all right. He's
in
comfortably.
It was one of those classic gentle jogs until he suddenly thought, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of mileage in a gentle jog in this form of cricket.
No, but it was. I'm being a bit unkind. It wasn't quite a gentle jog, but it certainly wasn't a full-on gallop.
Last ball of our time together. Last ball of the first half of the third quarter. England 82 for 1 with 1 ball to go of the first 10 overs. Thinking in terms of quarters with AFL. They'll hurry through for a single, so England will be 83 for 1 with Salt on 42 and Moeen on 13. And I will move into the special comments and hand over to Mog while we do a little handover.
I will mention that Messi says if anyone can play 5 jingles at once, it's Tony Wheels of Steel Bishop. All the platters that matter, all the stacks of waxes.
Oh my lord.
And I think I'm off now, so...
it should be James. I'm going to take over on social rather than the Bear, so Bear gets a bit of a break.
There we go. Giving the Bear a break, yeah. After
Give the Bear... Well, it did all mathematically work out on my rotor. It's just I'd given him a sort of a fairly lengthy middle session.
There you go.
But if I do social, I make it up here.
Hopefully he's enjoying a Jaffa cake in the green room.
Well, we did hear about those Jaffa cakes. Now, talking about food, Forthy, what did you have for lunch? Just to bend everyone's minds who's actually awake in the wee hours in England.
Chicken schnitzel and half an avocado with some Sriracha sauce on the avocado.
You went... Okay, so you actually were cooking. I was thinking we were going to hear about a sandwich, maybe a Subway.
No. Well, I like to protein up at lunchtime so that I can get through the afternoon. So chicken schnitzel. This is a cheap chicken schnitzel from Woolworths, which for Australian listeners, they'll know that's a sort of Tesco equivalent. One of the many little quirks between the two countries. Our Woolworths is your Tesco.
You're looking to get lots of protein in before a leg session in the afternoon?
No. Just it's an appetite suppressant. It's the old Archer's, the Atkins diet theory, isn't it? If you load up on protein.
There you go, that's the thing. Do you know anyone? Are you friends with anyone who talks about things like leg days and arm days and things like that? Yeah,
leg days. No. Jamie and Scott, my 2 children, sometimes discuss tactics in the gym.
What are their tactics in the gym apart from lifting stuff?
Well, Jamie managed to buy an apartment that's got a gym, and he's quite lazy, so that suits him very well because he can just sort of flop down into the gym. He's turned into a very different shape from the Jamie I remember from as a teenager. He was. I preferred his teenage shape. He's now got tats, and he's all buffed up. Yeah.
That's not that impressive. I've changed into a very different shape to when I was a teenager. I don't sit here wanting congratulations for it.
Give him 20 years, he'll turn into another shape again.
Yeah, he will.
What tats has he got?
Fairly random ones. None of them say "I love Dad." Disappointingly.
Oh, that's harsh.
Couldn't you just hold him down and tattoo that onto him? I'm sure he'd appreciate it in the long run.
Just a massive picture of Dad all over your back. That's what I was hoping.
Your face, just leaning forward.
My face, your back. Exactly. Yeah. But no, he's gone his own way. He's got a faceless woman, which his girlfriend hates the faceless woman on one of his biceps, which I'm not a massive fan of either.
Well, in the meantime, chaps, Farong's joined us and said, a match evenly poised at this stage, a big over or 2 by either team now, and the icing will nearly be ready to top the cake. There we are.
This is interesting, actually, because I've got both of my fellow guests from Vinyl Maelstrom on with me.
Yes.
To talk of interest, Mr. Fortnite, Dre Russell, has come in and immediately bowled a pretty useless wide.
Wide.
Oh yeah, you've got the music.
Before we do a bit of mutual self-promotion, can I just
not gonna do that,
ask about the faceless woman? Is it a faceless quote-unquote sexy woman? As Dre Ross comes in, Moen pulls this and pulls it right into the hands of the West Indian fielder. Gros does a bit of magic, as he always does, and Moen is gone.
You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at?
That might be one of the big wickets that Farong was mentioning.
Yeah, I think so. Moen, 13 from 10 there. He looked scratching around a little bit, a few decent shots. I mean, he seemed to catch that quite well, right, Forthy, but
yeah, I
do what he
mean, yeah,
wanted.
to get 20 off 13 from Moeen, you're not going to get any more, but 13 off 10 is slightly sub Moeen, I'd say.
Yeah. Why do you think they put him up top? Was it to get a left-hander in, or
I
something?
think it was to
clever?
give just a little. He plays spin well. The spinners were on, and he can make sure we don't get. Sorry, not we. Make sure England doesn't get too bogged down as the spinners were on. I think was the thinking. It kind of worked about. It didn't quite work, but it wasn't a bad theory.
Well, it's bouncing par with his scores for the series. Really, he's 25 against Australia. He's 16, but he's got them all quickly. So he doesn't get bogged down, even if he doesn't stay long.
Yes, that was the thinking.
And maybe also slightly to protect the next man in from starting against spin, because he doesn't like that so much. Anyway, the next man in is the Ginger Hope, Bairstow.
Johnny Best is smarter than the average Bairstow. Johnny Best has been this good since daycare, so all put on your wigs and let the crimson hair flow. I want the Pope to give him his own large prayer. Oh, he can hit the sixes, although it's so dark. He'd even run a 10 at Bradford Park Avenue. No other Yorkshireman can compare. I tell you, Johnny Best is smarter than the average bear.
This was about the time when the West Indies had a bit of a spurt, and England might need to do something similar.
Ross in again to Bairstow, pushes it down the leg side straight away. That should be and is a wide.
Indeed, yes. Well, I mean, it's perfectly set up for a classic. A classic Bairstow innings, and he's looked in pretty good nick so far this tournament. So
he has, apart from in the chest area, as you body shamed him earlier.
I'm glad we don't have too many Guardian readers.
As he dabs that down and scurries through for a single. Although you've now got me looking at his chest, and he does have a slightly odd-shaped chest, as though he's wearing one of those 1950s pointy bras, which maybe he is. Maybe that's a thing in the England team now.
You mean like anyway, Madonna, one of the Madonna sort of style?
Madonna. I was in a retro way thinking more Jane Russell, but it works for Madonna. I think Madonna had like concentric circles as well, which I don't know if Bairstow's got there yet. Maybe next match. Who knows? But Salt's back. Fourthly, tell us about Vinyl Maelstrom.
Oh, please. No, I don't want another question of self-promotion. I just noticed that two of my hosts are on with me, so I'd just like to first of all,
wasn't it Jane Russell who was sort of rolling in hay in one of her most famous publicity shots?
The Outlaws.
Yeah, the Outlaws.
You can't catch James out on a film thing.
we can. To be honest, as Salt chops that into his own feet and then just jogs through very gently, like a chief executive out in the morning.
I was talking to one of my music club friends last night, and they had listened to your episode, James, and they described it as, I really enjoyed it. He said it was intense. He described it.
It was intense, yeah. Maybe I think I was over intense. As we talked about before, we scheduled an hour, and I managed to speak for 2.
You spoke for 2.
You mean it was camp?
It was whipped off Bairstow's legs there. He's gonna get a couple. Yeah, I did feel quite guilty afterwards when the current Mrs. Hillhouse said, "Poor old Ian," and I did have some sympathy.
Certainly, Tony's East birthday.
You still there, Forthy? I think we lost you for a moment.
I think we did lose you for a
I'm back.
moment there.
He's back.
Don't worry, guys. He's back. 89 for 2. Dre Ross in again. Bairstow attempts to cut that, but he just manages to chop it down, and they get another single here. They're dealing in singles at the moment, like Jeffrey Epstein. As the
Well, wide wicket, wide 1-2, 1-2. It's not too bad actually.
But England had a rash of wides, and it's particularly when the swing bowlers were up. When Topley struggled, Mark Wood struggled. It was the pace bowlers that were really struggling with wides, and I haven't got it in front of me, but I'll have a look. But I think was it about 15 in the end?
Yeah,
it's quite an appreciable contribution to the score.
Well, dear listener, you'll be surprised to know they got another single there. It's the end of the 11th over, and England are now 91 for 2. What is happening in the social verse?
Good question. I must admit, I was going off to look at how many wides. Someone else can look that up. How many extras did England concede? That would be what I was trying to find out. Let me look on YouTube. On YouTube. We'll have to wait for an ad now because I logged out of it. Right, here we go. On YouTube, let's see. Jonathan Seifert. Evening from deep in the heart of Texas. Puran, spilling a few chances has me thinking of West India keepers of yore. Ridley Jacobs, Ramdin. They've had a few characters. 10 wides by England.
10 wides, yeah.
See, that's a useful contribution.
As the chase is on again, and he manages to bowl a wide, and England run through for a single as well.
Yeah, well, that's handy from an England perspective. Maybe it is the breeze that's causing the problem.
Well, who would have thought that Chase would be the gun bowler in this game at the start of the match?
He's very much the Roger Binney of the outfit. Who's the one who always got?
Bairstow goes to launch it for the most almighty 6 you've ever seen, but then just manages to actually squirt out in a different direction and just get a single there. Go on for
unlikely bowl Munoj Prabhakar, who had Jeff Boycott's number for a while, didn't he?
He's certainly the iron in the team at the moment. This time it's shorter, and Salt launches it, doesn't get all of it. Fielded by Joseph, just can make through for 1. A lot of effort that for not much result. Now the wind predictor is telling us that the West Indies are backs in the box seat, but I think it's probably pretty even still.
Impossible to call this one. Impossible to call.
I'd say it's edging their way. It was 10 wides, 1 leg by and 2 byes, apparently.
There's a sweep there, and there's a hesitant run for another single. Those singles just keep on coming. There's quite a lot of gammon in the crowd, as you might expect. There's
non-gammon should be working.
Yeah, exactly. This time it doesn't really pitch, and Salt forces it down to long on again, just for a single. Could maybe do with a boundary here, but with
living in Australia, there's a bit less gammon texture because people tend to keep themselves in slightly better nick in Australia. But
yeah. Oh, that's a shame for you.
It is,
don't worry. There's a bit of rocking forward and backward from Bairstow, and eventually he decides, you know what, I'll plonk it over his head and I'll get a 4.
Very nice. Oh, some nice dance moves in the crowd there from a gentleman.
2.
Yes, different parts of him moving quite independently of each other. In that particular gentleman's case.
There is there's something about England supporters in the West Indies dancing that always makes me think of the film White Men Can't Jump. Maybe it should have had a
English cricket fans can't dance. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's Bairstow again winds himself up to do something spectacular, but manages just to get a single, and the over is done already. England are 102 for 2 off 12 overs. What's happening on YouTube?
Well, Scott Harrison is saying Salt 42 off 32. He's 46 off 33 now. Needs to carry us home or get us close, says Scott. Big Brain 61, backgammon. I love backgammon. Phil Collins can't dance either. That's right. Oh, I can't dance. Right, I shall leap back on to the Twitterverse or the Xverse. Leah
Collins
is with us, so hi to you, and the rest is as before.
The rest is silence. Yes, I seem to remember the Phil Collins Can't Dance, Genesis Can't Dance was a quote-unquote funny video to accompany it around that time.
It was some terrible dancing of the three of them sort of in line, wasn't it?
Yes. Moti bowls into Bairstow, and Bairstow pushes out onto the offside.
Phil Collins appears at both in the UK and US Live Aids. He flew over on Concorde for Led Zeppelin. The other thing, of course, is he divorced his wife by fax, famously.
Yes, and I think that Phil Collins doing the Concorde thing for Live Aid, very generous to spread the misery in a transatlantic way. Why should London just suffer? I remember that being a big thing on the day.
It was a big thing, yeah. Page and Plant were furious. It's a terrible performance from him, but there again, they haven't rehearsed, so what did they expect?
Funny that. It felt a very 80s thing, sort of pride of Britain. Look what our Phil's doing. He's only gone and got on a plane. Amazing.
He's arrived before he's taken off.
Yeah, exactly. How does that work?
Some
Radio 1 DJ was pulling a funny face, no doubt. Salt readies himself. Moti, one of the key men in the West Indies attack, manages to pin Salt down here. There is no run. We're starting to see middle managers on their holidays from England looking nervous. Now, we've got to that stage. Screw the gammon. This is about someone who's going to slip on a tie later and maybe head back to the hotel for a video.
Same way you see a brand manager in a kilt watching Scotland play Hungary.
It is, and it's forced out onto the offside by Salt just for another single. Lots and lots of singles, like Spring Break at the moment. And sorry, Joseph, looks like
I think I preferred your Spring Break metaphor to your Jeffrey Epstein metaphor.
Yes, this is terrible. This is awful. I apologise for that. It's just because I was watching last night Scoop. Is it called Scoop? Have you seen that Netflix film?
Oh God!
About the Andrew. It's about the Prince Andrew. Oh, there's smashed out to the boundary, but fielded by Joseph there. Not in exactly a professional manner. He stopped it and then he did a little bit of a twirl and then it got back in the end. Yes, no, it's about the Prince Andrew interview. I wouldn't necessarily recommend
I have seen that.
Yeah, it just sort of plays out what you kind of know already.
Yeah.
And you're meant to sit there marvelling at Rufus Sewell not looking handsome. This time, it is a reverse sweep over the top by Burso, and I think that is going to trickle out to the boundary. It certainly is for a 4.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
They just kind of need to. They just need to kind of not worry too much.
Yeah.
4, 1.124 will do them for the next 3 or 4 overs. It's just what's happened here.
Yeah. And this time it's Yorked in on Bairstow's legs, and he manages to force that out onto the leg side for a single. England are triple Nelson for 2 off 13.
Right. Big Brain 61. Last time I saw him, that's Phil Collins. He was singing in a swivel chair in one of his final concert performances in Philly. Mr. Handjob wants to know, isn't Phil also obsessed with the Alamo? Yes, I think he is. No, he is. He is. That is his area of interest. I mean, I think he probably uses all different car hire companies. Wells Fargo Centre says Big Brain, built on the site of JFK Stadium where the American part of Live Aid was. Leah says, tell Forthy to check his Twitter. I have an excellent video clip for him. Oh, Forthy, there you go. Check that one out. Low budget chamberer filmed in the German Heath. Low budget Kurosawa, if you will. I literally have no idea what she means, but I'm sure you go and have a look.
Oh, low budget Kurosawa, that sounds interesting. We will check that. As Azari Joseph reappears, and immediately Bairstow walks towards the leg side and pulls it towards cow corner for a 6.
It was interesting. You get pace back, and boom.
Yeah.
Tony's gone full deputy headmaster there. It's a.
Will I ever get? What do I need to do to get promoted? That's what I want to know. other than become more
this is
sort
the
of...
trouble, isn't it? They've brought a new younger guy in with ambitions to change the school. It's one of those, I think. Azari Joseph comes in again. It's short and it's dabbed over the wicketkeeper by Bairstow now for a 4.
Enough of your lip, young Hillhouse. I wouldn't say that if you were here. Now I know you're 7'7".
Well, at my school, it was the head who actually had that role. We had this school where, when it was winter, if you were trying to be a bit cool, you would wear a round neck rather than a V-neck sweater. And we had a head who was obsessed by the fact that, not that people were doing that, but that they were actually turning round their V-necks to make them round neck sweaters. So he would walk past you if you were wearing a round neck sweater and turn that jumper around now. That is the oddest man.
Oh, Big Brain 61 has identified himself. It's Brian Barish. So hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian. As comes in again, Joseph. This time goes for a cut, misses it completely, or actually catches the ball, which is like a novel thing for him to do. He felt
Right,
like
Brian. During the course of this tournament, Brian's undergone the most amazing transformation. He started off as a sort of Dickensian figure, baseball cap.
Oh,
and he shaved the beard off. He took the baseball cap. I literally did not recognise him 24 hours later.
Good Lord.
World Cups can do this to people, as Joseph, and what Bairstow can do to him is pull him towards the boundary again, but it's going to be cut off by Trace, who takes a magnificent tumble there. So he's practicing his gymnastics. Doesn't actually get the ball, but his mate throws it in, so that's okay. England 1-2-3 for 2 at the moment from 13.4 overs. Bairstow.
I'm sensing Tony is warming up for a full Barry Davis, and Italy have given the goal away because they will not learn.
You silly little boy. Oh no, that was one of Stephen Fry, wasn't it?
The Italians known for not learning. Of course, who can name a good Italian academic or writer or artist or anyone like that?
Da Vinci, possibly.
Primo Levi.
No. They've never
Caravaggio.
done anything.
Umberto Eco.
Let me tell you, if I was trying to, as you pointed out earlier, if I was trying to find Nobel laureates, I'd be heading to St. Lucia.
Vivaldi, Puccini. What?
I was, of course, being ironic.
Oh, good. I was about to say any Renaissance painter you want to name.
But thank you.
If you are going to be ironic,
most of the Ninja Turtles.
I'll tap on my nose next time.
Yeah, tap on the nose if you're being ironic.
Thanks that you both think that I'm the sort of person who might actually think that. That's quite a revealing moment. And a revealing moment here is Salt lumps it towards cow corner, but of course they've got a man there. So he's just going to get through a single there, but it's a damn good over for England. 14 from it. At the end of 14 overs, it's 1-2-5 now for 2.
Big Brain says Galileo. Very good. Let me see. Mark Zip. Wasn't Low Budget Kurosawa the name of a rare fall EP released in Finland only?
Yes, that is correct.
Mr. Handjob says Brian no longer looks like Brian. I also, says Brian, scare the crap out of people by changing my appearance without telling them. Mr. Handjob says, but what have the Italians done for us lately? Fair question. And over on Twitter, for there is something, Leah says, the heath is a shrubland habitat common in northern Germany, characterised by sandy and acid soils and general infertility, Tony.
No.
I don't quite like those three names together, general infertility, Tony, but I know what you mean.
Stay away from heaths as Hussein comes in for his final over. Salt pushes it out onto the offside for a single there. I just want to reiterate, I feel like I'm Alan Partridge now. I just want to reiterate, I do understand that Italy has lots of intellectuals and great thinkers. I was merely joking.
A lovely drop of Montepulciano and some lovely pasta too.
I'll give you top 3 heaths: 1 Hampstead, 2 Egdon, 3 Ted.
Oh, and this time there's an appeal.
Don't forget Adrian.
For a leg before, and then there's almost a run out there for Salt. Everything happening all at once. Now he really wants this, Hussein. He's looking around at the umpire and appealing to him. Are they going to take the review? I doubt it, although given though there's a shake of the head there from Poran, but given that an LBW was given when someone was on their way home, it's maybe not an unreasonable thing to think of. Why would you put Hampstead Heath up there?
I really like Hampstead Heath. I was reminded how much I like it when I went back to London last year.
What do you like about it so much? Sorry, I'm saying this sounds really aggressive. I'm just actually asking.
I know it's
Any
got
reason
history.
for asking this?
Keats wrote "Ode to a Nightingale" in the pub by the side of it. It's got. I remember a romantic tryst with a young friend many years ago on Hampstead Heath.
Okay,
steady on
from there.
What?
That's
Not that
unfortunately.
sort.
I was going to say TMI.
Comes in again. He attempts an enormous pull shot, and he actually is going to get 4 from it. He didn't really get all of it, but he gets the 4 from it. The Ginger Hulk.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Not a moment too soon to say 40 from his EA house.
He's trysting somewhere on Hampstead Heath with a
Trip down
with a young
memory
friend.
lane.
I remember the examiner's report from the English syllabus, which said, once again, we seem to have a plethora of Lear going mad on Hampstead Heath this year.
It's in. Oh, it's gone high. It's gone high from Bester, but has it gone long? It has gone long. It's a 6 from the mighty Move Master.
136 from 2.
Yeah,
there's a young gammon giving it some. Go on, son.
Much like you and your young friend.
What my young friend
of Hampstead
my young
Heath.
friend. Let me reveal was of the female persuasion.
It's the young friend bit. I think that we will.
I know what you're saying.
More about we've moved on from the Epsteins now. Yeah. Oh my God. There is a gammon in the crowd with a mouth the size of the Mersey Tunnel.
If you remember Tim Nice but Dim from the old days.
Yeah, that was him.
He like him crossed with Nigel Farage's anger. As Besto goes to lump it down the ground again, but actually gets it behind the wicket. It might trickle for a 4. It will trickle for a 4.
It's a Vatican 4, but England will take it.
Just 4.
It's all going a bit Pete Tong for the West Indies here. 41 from 31.
Yeah, 15 from this over. Now, from
as we're having some 90s reminiscences.
Let's remember
yeah, go.
There we go. It's lovely. It's lovely to bring it bang up to date. We've moved from the reminiscences of a misspent youth into another different misspent youth. Hussain comes in to complete his over and us to complete this stint, but actually I think it's going to be a wide. This is a terrible over from one of West Indies' gun bowlers.
Salt and Bairstow don't need to do anything dumb from here. They don't really need to play any more extravagant shots. 40 off 31.
Yeah, they've got themselves a best again, played extraordinarily well. This time dabs it down, doesn't really know where it goes, pancakes it onto the pitch. And at the end of the 15th over, as we have a change over here, England are in a very healthy position at 141 for 2.
Before you go, James, I should warn you that I gather the NSPCC are investigating an anonymous complaint about a man bog-washing children and holding them down to tattoo them against their will.
That's our headmaster, not our deputy.
Messrs.
I'll be into tension.
Jonathan Seatfelt on YouTube would be your next message to read as we enter the last 5 overs with England on 141 for 2. 57 they need of 32. Phil Salt.
Firm favourites, I would say. Phil Collins might want to read Forget the Alamo, a helpful historical dive into why the building and the battle are very overhyped, says Jonathan Seafield.
West Indies reached their 150 off 17 overs, so England are 141. If they go at 5 and over, they'll have overtaken the West Indian worm.
Well, the problem is here, isn't it? The West Indies have backed their spinners to keep England down, and actually, whilst 6 of their overs of spin have not cost them much, the others have not been as effective. And now they've only got what one over of Ross and Chase and maybe one over of Moti left in the spin department, which means they've got 3 overs of pace, and pace seems to be the thing that's going for runs. So
we had Lear on the heath earlier.
Salt by Puran is so fucking significant now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, look,
it
I
is.
mean, Johnny Bairstow, you said shouldn't be in the side. 46 or 21, I'll take that any day.
No, it still shouldn't. He's lucky as buggery.
And this one is absolutely
leather.
Launched over extra cover. One bounce for 4 runs off the first ball from Romario Shepherd. It brings up
50.
The 50 for Phil Salt, who moves on to 53. Let's celebrate the 4 first.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is
One of these.
half a century.
In comes Romario Shepherd. That's launched down the ground. Has he got enough of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you bet your life he has. It was over long off. It's a 4 and a 6 to start this over. Phil Salt wants to get the job done, and he doesn't want to hang around doing it. Romario, wherefore art thou? Thou art looking thoroughly pissed off.
Well, I think with 8 wickets in the hutch, England should try and get this done as quick as possible. Get the net run rate thing going.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you got to get over the line. I agree. If they lose a wicket, but whilst these two are there and they're in, they might as well carry on going for it. They only need 30 runs.
Well, it's a very different Johnny B to the one we saw against Australia, who seemed to grind England to a halt. Not so much today. That's flicked imperiously over Nicholas Pooran down to the what do you call the boundary right behind the wicket-keeper? It's neither
fly slip area.
The fly slip area, I suppose.
Long stop.
Even that would be long stop. Well, call it long stop, but it's 4 more.
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4's are for.
Speed of
to get
thought
funky
there
on the dance floor.
to adapt everything and just ramp it was superb.
West Indies' head seemed to have dropped.
Up in the air, over it goes. This is a huge over for England. My goodness me, Josh Butler's smiling and laughing. Well, so is everyone. It's gone for 6 more. Over deep extra. What a shot that was. Oh, for some reason I've just moved to jingle somewhere.
You dragged it.
I dragged it and it disappeared.
Yeah, because you dragged it over what was there before.
Oh Lord, it was a good one that was there before, but I can't remember which one. Never mind.
Tough.
England are motoring here. Phil Salt is driving them towards what they hope will be a successful first outing in this Super 8 group. It is a bit of a group of death. We were saying this morning when we were chatting about this that if you look at the first group, you'd kind of go India, Australia, and we'll just wait for Shepherd. This is pulled high, handsome and long, over deep square. And it's gone for 6 more. Oh, Romario, thou art fucked.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 6.
That's what I mean. They tried to keep us quiet with a spin, but they've had to turn the pace at some point. They've got 3 overs of it. They've got a bowl, and
the Salty Sea Dog's got his eye in, and he's enjoying himself out there now. This has been a phenomenal over as far as England are concerned.
And the hidden bard has come out in Tony.
It's a bit of a lame finish. 14 now they need off 25. In comes Shepherd. It's full. It's launched again. Has he got enough? It's 4. Yes, it is. It's away. 1 bounce over extra cover boundary for 4 more. Crikey Moses, what did that over end up going for?
30, I think.
Romario, lad.
Yeah, it was.
We
needed 40 off 30, and now we need 10 off 24.
Well, that over we think has gone for 30, largely by the vicious bat of Phil Salt, who combined raw power with inventiveness to find I think every ball found its way to the boundary at some point in some capacity, didn't it?
3.
What a mighty over that was for England. What a disastrous over
Indeed.
it was for West Indies. Messers.
Steve Hanford says, thanks for covering this, lads. Be fucked if I'm subscribing to Amazon to watch this. Thanks for calling us lads. I like that.
Instead of granddads.
He wrote that when James was still on.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You might like to consider supporting us through Patreon. Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Exactly. We are going to have to move at the end of this summer, presuming that I get an offer on this flat, but I assume that will happen at some point.
Around the wicket comes Gutikesh Moti, just worked away by Johnny Bairstow into the offside. Almost really to me as if he's going, there you go, I'm just going to take a single because Phil, I think you are the man of the moment. 4-6-4, 6-6-4, that 16th over from poor old Romario Shepherd, who Phil Salt found to his liking, and immediately Phil Salt, who has been brought back onto strike, slaps this pass backward point for 4 more, and England are very, very close to mission accomplished here.
Well, nearly 5 from 22 balls, one shot.
Where I live is the address I give. The phone.
What an explosive finish from England, and Bear almost seemed to come out of nowhere.
Well, it
came out of Romario Shepherd.
Well, it came out. It came out of the fact that what we were talking about. I don't think. I think you underestimate.
This is nudged down to long on for a single.
You said pace on, and Wood didn't go as expensive as that, did he? So, I think you have to say England ended up bowling reasonably well. I mean, you're always going to get hit. This is a fairly decent batting track, clearly.
This one's engineered away by Bairstow. He stepped away to leg, forced it into the offside, doesn't get a run on this occasion. England, I think, needing 4 off 20 with 8 wickets in hand, would not be overly disturbed by that. This one again, Bairstow can't get away. It's guided really to short third. He slaps the ground in frustration, well, several times. Moves jiggling as he goes. And
Salt was on 7 when he was dropped.
that is a huge, well, ask poor old Romario how he feels about that. Bairstow again is stepping away towards leg, and again they saw him coming, and he can only force it into the offside. It means that after 17, England needing 181, 177 for 2. They are so close to being there. 4 off 18 is what they need. Messers.
You created some amusement on Twitter. Phil Nightingale says we're not doomed. Brian says, hi, handsome and long. Tony talking about me when I'm not here.
Fair enough.
And Mog says, I can't help but being somewhat disappointed by this impending result. 4-6-4-6-6-4 is also what I shot playing a par 3 once.
That sounds more like my golf, yeah. 47 for Johnny B off 25.
Defunct says more salt on the wound.
This one is muscled away. The field is set deep. They'll take 2. That'll reduce the runs needed. Alzari Joseph, the bowler. So England need 2 from 17. That over was just huge from the Salty Sea Dog. What a fine effort from him.
We have big news.
Yes,
Bob says, despite the horror of an English victory, I have upped my Patreon and you will obey me when the next ODI comes around.
Okay.
Thank you,
in comes Alzari Joseph. That's gone up in the air. I think he might be in a spot of bother here. No, it's going to drop safe, would you believe it? It's gone back with a square. Have they taken 2? That's all they needed. They just took 1, did they?
Yeah.
They did. I thought it was going to go for... surely someone must be underneath it. But deep backward square mid-wicket. Were both set too deep.
Well,
and
England
it dropped short of both.
England, well, this is where they were short. 200 wouldn't have been enough here.
Mog wants a super over.
Well, he had one. An over that was super, but it came from Phil Salt,
true.
and it was the 16th, I think. This one's pulled away. That'll be it for England. What a fantastic performance by them. Absolutely superb. Johnny Bairstow punches the... well, it was sort of a... not really the air. He was sort of punching in front of himself, as it were. Smiles around the heavily English-oriented crowd, as ever is so often the case in the West Indies. And A lot of tourists have come out for this. England have won by 8 wickets with plenty of time to spare. It's a real match-winning performance by Phil Salt. The record books or the scorecard will not show the drop on. So who dropped him?
It was Pooran.
Nicholas Pooran, who dropped him on 7. Yeah, it was a edge, wasn't it? But goodness me, did that cost the Windies in the end? But England have seen this home in the end in fine, and I have to say, perhaps slightly unexpected style. That over was just a monster from Phil Salt.
Well, you don't know. I mean, it's England team are very capable. This is why they're one of the favourites for the tournament. You know, they just haven't shown it. They haven't had the opportunity to show it. To be fair, in the tournament, they faced 32 overs before this game in batting. 20 of those were against Australia, and they let Australia get too many runs, and it was tricky.
Well, 87 not out for Phil Salt.
That makes England the favourites to top this group, in my view. And,
should do, yeah.
My prediction is that they'll face India in the semi-final.
Oh, Lord, that'll be fun. 87 or 47 it was for Phil Salt. Johnny B was riding shotgun for him, 48
surely
26. Joss Butler did okay, 25 off 22, got England rolling. Moeen Ali 13 off 10. The bowling, well, some of it makes some horrible reading, really. Number 35 for Akil Hussain off his 4, not so bad. Number 41 for Romario Shepherd off 2, and remember, one of those went for 30. So, goodness me. 1 for 21 for Russell off 2. Number 32 for Alzari Joseph. Number 32 for Gutikesh Moti. 1 for 19 off 3 for Roston Chase, who probably economy-wise and indeed wicket-taking wise was the pick of the bowlers. But England have won here by 8 wickets with 15 balls remaining, courtesy of a fabulous knock of brutal power by Phil Salt.
Indeed, not a bad knock by Johnny Bairstow. It was going along at nearly two balls.
In the end.
Yeah, but that assumes. So you're assuming that Australia are going to beat India, and India are going to be second. So England are going to play.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But then I think the final might be these two again. I think it might be England-West Indies final.
You think?
There you go.
Well, they're going to avoid each other in the semi-final.
Well, now you see. This is what I was saying earlier about the winner of this game has a bit of momentum, but B doesn't have the stress of necessarily being. I mean, they want to beat South Africa, but if they lose and they beat USA, for example, they still have, especially if net run rate on this will be good. South Africa's game
just on that, Brian says, speaking as an American fan, if we can play 40 overs of not shit cricket, I'm confident we can beat these fuckers on Friday. There you go. So Brian says you're going to give in.
We're playing
Mog
South Africa on Friday, so that must be the West Indies.
Oh, right. Mog says fucking West Indian submission there. And also, nicely done, chaps. I'll imagine I'll see you in the second innings of the next game.
Well, we will look forward to that. I'm going to have to run because I've got some meetings in the early morning. I'd love to get some sleep before them.
Yeah, I want to go home and get some sleep. So let us do run. It is 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Are we up to date on all messages?
We will be back at 3:30 this afternoon.
Yes.
Will we not?
I will be back. I'm looking forward to it, actually. India, Afghanistan. I'm hoping Afghanistan can pull something out of the bag.
So I'm delighted to hear you say that. Because I was
Bear and I will be continuing
how hard I was
marathon.
working you.
I don't mind.
You're not doing tomorrow morning as well, though, Bear, which I am. It's fun.
No.
Thank you all for being with us. Thank you for your contributions, financial and verbal.
Indeed.
What makes it worthwhile for us. We look forward to seeing you at 3:20 this afternoon UK time.
Indeed.
We do indeed. And watch out for the next Bishop and Bear, by the way, which will be out in the wild
on today, 1 o'clock.
Today at 1 o'clock. So I'll
Brilliant.
tweet that when it arrives. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our